fix. Delivered to your inbox every Friday, it is your weekly dose of joy, entertainment, and local flair. Subscribe now at expressoshow.com and never miss a moment.
From heartwarming stories to tasty recipes, it's all there waiting for you. And remember to tune in to the Espresso Morning Show weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on S3, and let's start your day right and channel your inner feel good. S3.
The Rockets know how magical 3 points is in football. They want just that in their own backyard this weekend. But Gunners want to deny them any joy as they are in dire need of victory to escape from the uncomfortable territory. Mpumalanga battles it out with Eastern Cape. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. TS Galaxy Queens FC versus City Lads Ladies FC, the Sunday 18 August at 3 p.m. live on SABC 1 and SABC radio stations. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag We Love It Here. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
So, you think your older car doesn't need insurance, but what if your car accidentally caused damage to someone else's expensive car? Outsurance Essential is affordable insurance for older cars, giving you up to 1 million rand liability cover and loads more. Plus, claims are paid in cash, so you can use your own panel beater. Outsurance Essential is priced for cars older than 5 years, valued under 125,000 rand and not financed. SMS car to 43187 or call 0800 60,000 today. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
Success comes when opportunity meets preparation. I'd heard that so many times, I thought it was a cliche. I never really paid attention to it. Only now do I realize how true that really is. I'll give you an example. So when I was in local news in New York, I really wanted to work my way up to get into national news. I'd always wanted to work for CNN since I was a teenager. And I realized, after studying different reporters and how they made it, I realized that it was crucial for me to have a specialty, some sort of expertise, something that I could do better than others, I guess. And so that could be anything from being a sports reporter to being a political reporter or a business reporter. And I was very passionate about business news. So while I was working in local news, I decided to study and teach myself business news, not necessarily because there was an opportunity coming my way or there was an interview that I was preparing for, but because I trusted that one day an opportunity would come and I needed to be ready. So every weekend I went to the library. One weekend I'd study stocks. The next weekend I'd study bonds. The next weekend derivatives. The next weekend mergers and acquisitions, teaching myself. And in fact, the librarians on 33rd and Madison in New York got to know me very well because oftentimes I'd be the last person to leave. So after doing that for a few years, eventually by pure chance, I happened to meet an executive at CNN. And I asked him which department he worked in. He said he ran the business news unit and he was looking for a reporter. So when I met him, he gave me about 2 weeks to come in for a screen test and also for a financial news test as well. So in his mind, he felt guilty because he only had given me 2 weeks to prepare. But in my mind, I knew in my heart that I had been preparing for years. I truly believe in trusting your struggle, knowing that the hardships you go through will somehow end up being for your own benefit. I also believe in turning a blind eye to competition. I believe in giving, and I believe in trusting and knowing that your opportunity will one day come. You just have to be ready.
Absolutely. And if you watch the international news channels, she's a face that you will see quite regularly on CNN International. It's Zayn Asher. She's a British news anchor based in New York City and, of course, kicking us off on the show this morning. Welcome to The Talking Point. It's 10 after 9 o'clock. I'm Cathy Mohlahlana. The final day of the week. It is a Friday. What a week it has been. And certainly ended on quite an electric note, right? And lots for us to still talk about and dissect, try to make sense of as the week concludes. I must say, one of the stories yesterday, yes, I know, the one that most of you will want to talk about will be the EFF, and I'll be more than happy to take those calls. But I must say that I still have so many questions about the withdrawal of this case against the 95 Libyans who now we're told, have been released to the Home Affairs Department. What exactly that means is unclear at this point. But the NPA has withdrawn the case against those 95 Libyan nationals who were arrested, of course, and suspected of running a military camp in Mpumalanga. There are various investigations still underway. We have CIRA conducting its investigation. We have the police conducting their investigation. We also have Home Affairs conducting its investigation. But as things stand, there is no criminal case that is being pursued, at least through the courts, against these individuals. So it does raise a lot of questions. And how many times do we see this, right? It becomes one of the greatest weaknesses of our criminal justice system, that while people are arrested, they appear before court, the strength of the case against them sometimes is not solid enough for it to actually see the light of day. So hopefully we'll have more answers about what exactly is happening in this matter, because there was such a big song and dance about the expose. You had the minister there, you had the top officials of the police there. So surely the stage has already been set for there to be more out of this matter than just to have the cases withdrawn in the way that they have been. All right, a quick look then at what's coming up on the show today. It is a Friday. We are going to be looking at the Marikana massacre. Can you believe it? It's 12 years since Marikana happened, and there's a lot that has not changed in Marikana. Despite these massacres, there, of course, has been the pursuit of compensation for the families who lost loved ones who were injured during that particular protest. So we'll reflect on 12 years on where we are with Marikana. That conversation will be coming up in the second hour of the show. And then for the final hour of the show, this young lady was such a hit when we brought onto the show in 2022. And today she's going to be back because we want to find out, well, what has actually been happening in her career over the last couple of years since we last saw her. And I know so many of you loved the fact that we had her on, because if you don't listen to her, your children listen to her. And that's exactly what you told us when we interviewed her. So a quick snippet at our guest for the Friday wind down today.
Hi, this is Nundu Mo, and I'll be hanging out with Cathy Mohlahlana this Friday from 11 to 12 p.m. on SAFM.
Looking forward to spending the final hour with Nundu Mo, and I hope that you're going to be joining us for that conversation. She is an inspiring young woman. All right, so then back to the politics of the day. What do you make of the resignation of Floyd Shivambu from the EFF? Lots of conspiracy theories floating around. Oh, this is a potential merger of the EFF and MK. This is a sign that they're going to come together. Really? Do you genuinely believe that the MK party and the EFF are going to form some kind of alliance going forward? I don't know. Why would Floyd Shivambu leave the EFF only to know that further down the line he's going to contest for spot number 1 again with Julius Malema. Is that not what has been part of the challenge within the EFF, that there has been this contestation for number 1? How worried should the government of national unity be? I don't know so much about nationally, but in KZN, there could be some interesting things that are cooking for KZN. So let's think about how the KZN legislature is constituted. So you have 41 seats that have come from the IFP, the ANC, the DA, and the NFP to constitute a government in KZN. In the opposition, you have MK Party, 37 seats, the EFF, 2 seats. So that takes them to 39 seats. So if the EFF, MK Party work together, they still fall short because it's only 39 seats. You would need at least two more votes, 2 more seats in order for the MK to take over KZN. Is it likely that we're going to see defections to the MK Party, especially coming out of KZN? Will they have the last laugh? And is this part of the political strategy for an individual like Floyd Shivambu? What is it potentially that he was promised? Was he promised presidency of the MK Party, maybe to take over from Baba? Is he potentially going to be the new premier of KZN? Who knows? The options are endless, right? But it does show that shifts are possible. What is it a case of what is on the table? Are these transactions? What's in it for me? What are you? Show me the money. Is it a case of show me the money? Because if that's all that it takes, then the government of national unity in KZN should absolutely be worried. But politically, strategically, what do you think is the long-term gain? I must say, I'm not convinced by arguments of an MK-EFF merger, but I don't know. I don't know everything, so I'm open to hearing from you. I'll be taking your calls on 086 000 2032. That's the number to dial. 086 000 2032. On the WhatsApp voice note line, 0614 104 107. Well, while you think on that, while I get ready to take your calls, either way, if you watch that press briefing yesterday, it's very clear that this is a difficult moment for the EFF and also for its leader, Julius Malema.
Please be informed that I will not renew my membership of the EFF. I also request to resign my position as Member of Parliament and all positions in the EFF.
When you sent me a letter yesterday, I felt the same pain when I received the news of the passing away of my mother. Because Floyd to me is not just a comrade, he's a brother. And he will remain a brother even when he pursues his political career differently.
It must have been love, but it's over now. Victory in the opening match always sets a good tone, and that's what the Gunners of London are gunning for.
They've almost scored! Kai Havertz! And Arsenal have won it later.
Meanwhile, the Wolves are on a real mission to howl for 90 minutes in search of essential 3 points.
Wolves have a second! And listen to the noise!
This is the Premier League. Witness the thrilling encounter between Arsenal FC and Wolverhampton Wanderers on Saturday, 17 August at 3 p.m. Live on SABC3 and at your fingertips on SABC+. Also available on sabcsport.com. Hashtag we love it here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game. Big ups to all the women of Africa Dzonga. Incredible characters in various fields. When you set your mind onto something, your winning mentality is difficult to defeat. On and off the field. Your excellence in the world of sport speaks volumes. You are the great inspiration to the nation. Happy Women's Month, courtesy of SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Get ready for a theatrical experience like no other. Joburg Theatre and Theatre du Soleil's presents 1789, a gripping production that explores the dark side of power and corruption. Directed by Phyllis Klotz and Small Ndaba, with Joel Zuma at the helm of musical direction, this play will leave you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss this critically acclaimed sensation by securing your tickets now at www.joburgtheatre.com.
Hashtag SFM Talking Point.
All right, let me start off today in KZN, actually. Mlenze, you are in Eskaweni. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Mlenze.
Yes. No, Cathy, I'd like to weigh in or to have a bite on the resignation of Floyd Shivambu and subsequently joining the MK party.
Go for the bite, Mlenze.
Yeah, Cathy, one thing that is happening here is that people are speculating. People are speculating as to what led to Floyd Shivambu resigning from EFF and subsequently joining the MK party. If you look at the two parties, the way they've articulated their positions in parliament, you will see that there is a very fine margin, a small margin, or difference between the MK party and the EFF. In so many aspects of politics or economy. And to the point that even on the changing of the constitution, not holistically changing, certain portions of the constitution being changed, you'll see that the EFF is championing the very same thing and the MK party is also championing the very same thing. However, what is dismaying me the most is the way South Africans are perceiving Floyd Shivambu now. They are speculating that he has been promised. They are speculating that it's because he did not have an opportunity or had an opportunity in the EFF to become the president of the EFF. What is that nonsense? Excuse my language. That is marginalizing and discrediting a young comrade or a young leader, an African leader in the main. Criticizing him and destroying him in the media. We are not going to accept that, and we're going to defend Floyd Shivambu to anyone in the media who seeks to tarnish his image and political standing because of this current situation that he's facing or the decision that he has taken.
Mlenze,
as MK party, we welcome him wholeheartedly with both hands, and we are so great, happy and rejoicing about his decision.
Mlenze, do you think that his considerations were not personal considerations, that he's not doing this in his own interest and what he believes is the best decision for him?
Okay. I may not remember very well, but there was a lead, I think it's Amika Cabral, where he said, in one of his writings, he said, people are not fighting for any ideas or knowledge that is in somebody's head, but people are fighting or are in the revolution to ensure the future of their kids, to ensure their future themselves. So we are in it, firstly, for survival, and secondly, or firstly, to ensure that our country take a good direction, but also to ensure the future of our kids and of ourselves as well. Nobody will be involved in any form of anything just to starve, just to be poor. No ways.
So then you say
not in this thing.
then you're saying exactly what you are accusing others of saying. The point you made about there being a very fine line from a policy point of view between the EFF and the MK is something that perhaps we need to look at, because that means that Floyd Shivambu could pursue his political goal and of transforming society, as you put it, the generational mission, as it were. He could do that through either party, through the EFF or the MK party. So what would it have been then that now, at this point, he leaves a party that he founded, that he has been instrumental to join another party? There must be other considerations, and those absolutely have to do with the individual. And there's nothing wrong with it, Mlenze. People change jobs all the time. They change jobs all the time, and it is personal.
Yes, you're correct, Cathy. But allow me to say this, Cathy. I'm going to throw another example again. You see, South Africans, they've forgotten that previously, or historically, the friends of the ANC in Zimbabwe was not ZANU-PF. It was ZAFTU. But Robert Mugabe, after finishing his studies in Fort Hare, being a member of ZAFTU, he went and formed a splitter party from ZAFTU, subsequently became the ZANU-PF, and which is controlling Zimbabwe at this day and age. So, for one to leave a political party is not a new thing. Even Robert Sobukwe left us in the ANC and formed the PAC in 1956. It's not a trace mesh. There's no speculation. But we must allow politics to play its role and allow and be cognizant to the fact that politics is a dynamic environment.
All right, Mlenze, let's leave it there. Mlenze, out in Eskaweni. Yeah, look, I don't think that it's necessarily something that people should frown upon. It's part of life. People make decisions about their lives every day. In this instance, the intersection, however, of the personal being political is perhaps a lot more pronounced, because how it manifested itself through the relationship of Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu has been no secret. And so, of course, it's going to cause quite a lot of talk and speculation, rightfully so, about what this means politically for the opposition in the country. Sintu, you're out in Midrand. Good morning.
How are you, my dear sister?
I'm well.
Yes, long time.
Yes, Sintu, go for it.
yes. I thought I was going to be the first caller.
Almost. You were almost
yes.
there.
Yeah. I've got quite a number of issues to raise, especially the
Only one.
The poster that has been displayed by the ANC in this matter of Floyd Shivambu. Now they are saying that he has gone to join the band of corrupt individuals to the MK. But the ANC is forgetting the fact that there are people that have been accused. It has not done anything, like the likes of Denim Caesar, and Ruzami, who are directly involved in this VPS, but you never hear them talking about those people. And you know that the recently charged Zizikoto is still a member of the ANC, although he has resigned from all his positions. But the ANC speakers, if they are so immune when it comes to corrupt activities in this country. And then there is also a view that the ANC is not acting on the 91 people that have been indicated in the Zondo Commission, because they are afraid should they act, the ANC will collapse. I'm saying that the MK is good for attracting great minds to its fold, so that it can shape the policy direction of this country. Because we must move away from the rhetoric now and try to make sure that our people get employed. And then the likes of Floyd Shivambu will make the MK party benefit in terms of policy direction. You see? And this thing of dismissing Floyd Shivambu to say that he's there to contest position is neither here or there. But the ANC must look at itself and stop criticizing people who have left it and then we still continue to enjoy the political limelight in this country. Because it has got corrupt people in its echelons, you see, who are still, even its own president right now, you see, there is still a cloud that is hanging over around Phala issue, which involves money laundering in this kind of flouting South African Revenue Service Act. But I think they've been coming to your show, to most of the show, and talking about corrupt individuals within MK, forgetting that the ANC is also corrupt. It has got corrupt individuals in its fold.
Okay.
Let's leave Floyd will continue to contribute in Parliament, will continue to contribute in the politics. He's still young. He still has got future in this country. Thank you very much, Cathy.
Sintu out in Midrand. Thanks for that contribution. Yeah, I mean, it is strange that the fact that this move, how part of how it's framed is that it's personal, and it's around personal interests. We're talking about politicians. Politicians pursue their personal interests every single day. Every single day they pursue their personal interests. It's 9:30. Time for the latest news headlines.
In news making headlines for this hour, some mine workers in Marikana near Rustenburg in the northwest say the living conditions remain appalling. This as the country commemorates the 12th anniversary of the Marikana massacre, in which police gunned down 34 Lonmin platinum mine workers at the infamous Kopi on August the 16th. In other news, Action SA has expressed concern about the National Prosecuting Authority's decision to withdraw the charges against 95 Libyan nationals. They were arrested last month at an illegal military camp on a farm in Mpumalanga. And lastly, the city of Johannesburg will today convene a special council meeting to vote for a new mayor. I'll be back at 10 with more news. For SFM News, I'm Eva Chipa.
#SFM Talking Point.
Hi, good morning, Cathy. Yes, Flores here from the Western Cape. Floyd Shivambu, first and foremost, I think he has the abilities and capabilities to make a positive change in the MK. But let me tell you, it's all about political ambitions, politics of the stomach. There he knows he will get a senior position, which he will never get while Julius is running his EFF spaza shop. And let me tell you, you could clearly see the tension yesterday in that press conference between these two best buddies. Julius wants his coffin to be draped in an EFF flag one day. Well, I think that's going to happen sooner than he thinks. I mean, now this in a political death. EFF is gone by 2026, but you get what you putting in. So yeah, Julius, bye-bye. Have a good show.
A very good morning to you, Cathy, and your lovely crew. To me, the departure of Floyd Shivambu from EFF to MK is a sign of EFF dying a slow death, because Julius Malema is running that organization as a spaza shop, following the likes of UDM's Bantu Bonge Wolomisa, who became the president of UDM just before the second national general elections in 1999 to date. So the others from EFF will follow suit. I'm telling you, keep your eyes wide open. I thank you, Patukolo Emonti.
Good morning, Cathy and SFM listeners. I think maybe Floyd was tired of being deputy because he can't be a deputy forever, but I wish him well in his future. I'm Madivan Bushiel in Pretoria.
Hi, good morning, Cathy. This is Salim. In politics, there's no permanent enemies and there's no permanent friends. They're just interests. So right now, I think what is happening is a power struggle between the so-called progressive forces. Zuma is now beginning to strategize so that he can build up his party. I think it's a big loss for the EFF and a big gain for the MK. But I don't think so. This kind of thing will last forever, because you must understand, friendship and will change as the landscape changes.
All right, thanks for those WhatsApp voice notes that you've sent through so far. Let me continue with your calls on the open line. Ndu, you are also in Durban. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, Ndu.
Yes. Cathy, I must say, regarding the resignation of Floyd Shivambu from the EFF, I must say that it's really disturbed me, like my spirit, like I didn't like it. I received it very, very badly. But to be honest with you, like I do agree in what you're saying. I think with some of the listeners, when it comes to the reason for him leaving, I think it's more about his political career. That, for the lack of the better word to use, I think he's tired of being the shadow of Julius Malema. Obviously, it was a very, very difficult decision for him to take or to make. Because remember that they started this baby together, which is called the EFF, from nothing to what it is today. But seeing, because remember that even again, Julius Malema said he will be contesting the position again of, he will stand for the position of being the president again of the Economic Freedom Fighter. So it's believed Floyd to be stuck there because of Julius doesn't want to leave, doesn't want to move there so that he can able to do, so that Floyd can be the president and then able to apply some of the policies and look at some content in terms of the constituency of the EFF, because there have been complaints that these open border policies and some other things as well, like it's really destroying the party. So I think for me, like to be honest with you, Cathy, it's more about the career. There is this invisible thing that people they want to say that there's the EMK and the EFF are going to emerge after 5 years or 6 years. No, I don't agree with that. It's just Floyd is tired of being the shadow. That's it.
All right, Nundu out in Durban. And I think we have seen this quite a lot within our political landscape, right, in the last 6 years, especially in the last 8 years. Look at the different parties that have been formed. How many people have formed their own parties coming out of other organizations? So it's not unusual. The question is really, what does this all mean for the EFF, and what is the political strategy for the MK party right now? How are they intending on pursuing their own survival as an organization? I mean, it's clear that they need capacity. So should all the parties be worried about who the MK is going to likely recruit from them? It's like when you have a new organization in an industry, everybody starts getting worried. Are they going to go and recruit our workers? I don't see it as being fundamentally different to that. Mpo, you're in Randfontein. Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning to the listeners of SAFM.
Yes.
So, I think we are over-exaggerating the Floyd influence in the EFF. To think that he was this individual alone who has the brains and others were just keeping quiet. I think it's an over-exaggeration. So one issue that I also think is important, the MK is still embroiled. So there is no sense of policy direction. They have not written anything apart from what we call progressive caucus statement. But just for them in policy and conversations and leadership discussions that are going to emerge, I don't see how there will not be like any other political party where human tension and self-interest and self-aggrandizement would influence how they are going to choose their leaders. So I think we are rushing. We think like there's a drama. Let's wait a bit before you think it's a turnaround situation. We are still slow. You might find that in actual fact the EFF will do better outside this guy called Floyd. So you're over-exaggerating with like a national crisis. There's no crisis here. The men has just moved to another party. And I also think it's unfair to bring the ANC problems in this discussion. You ask, the ANC got up about society. The building of small political, in criticizing the ancients from themselves in small pieces. A year later, when they have to face their own issues, then they realize that in actual what they run away from other parties is exactly what they continue. So the issue of politics is a volatile, it evolves, it's not stagnant, and I'm certain that a lot here, Bomblands and the rest who have just said stories. They will see soon that what affected the ANC, what affects the PAC, what affects what we call black progressive in the MK. It's unavoidable. That's my point. Thank you.
All right, Paul, out in Randfontein, we'll have to leave it there because that connection to you also isn't great. But I think we managed to get the gist of what you wanted to contribute. I'm still taking your calls, 086 000 2032. It is your open line. You get to set the national agenda on the round table. The WhatsApp voice note line, 0614 104 107. I'd love to hear from you on the very different issues that you want to speak about this morning.
18 teams are back on the hunting ground. No one wants a loss or a draw. They are all searching for maximum points in every encounter. This is the Bundesliga. Football as it's meant to be. Do not miss out on the 2024-2025 Bundesliga season. Catch the action live on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and at your fingertips on SABC Plus. Also available on sabcsport.com. Hashtag We Love It Here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
So why should I use We Buy Cars if I want to sell my vehicle?
Because We Buy Cars buys cars.
But will I get the right price?
Of course. We Buy Cars buys thousands of vehicles and knows exactly what every vehicle is worth. Their buyers deliver exceptional service and pay you immediately.
And how do I know what they'll pay for my vehicle?
It's easy. Visit webuycars.co.za or use the We Buy Cars app. Follow the simple steps and voila, you'll know your car's value in no time. We Buy Cars. Quick, easy, the best.
SAFM is celebrating its 88th birthday, and what better way to celebrate than with you, our loyal listener. We will be giving away 8,800 to 10 lucky listeners during the month of August. To stand a chance of winning, stay tuned to SAFM and SMS the keyword SAFM88 followed by your name to 41391 and listen to the station throughout the day where you could be selected as a winner. SMSs are charged at R1.50 per SMS. Free SMSs and SMS bundles do not apply.
When 26-year-old Annika got tired of high insurance premiums giving her the runaround, she gave Outsurance a call. She now pays an unbelievable 827 Rand per month to insure her silver 2022 VW Polo Vivo Trendline. SMS out to 30754 for an Outsurance code to see how much you could save. That's out to 30754 today. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
All right, I'm still taking your calls on the open line. Wonga, you are in the Eastern Cape. Good morning.
Good morning, Cathy, and good morning to your SAFM listeners. Cathy, I just want to talk about Alfred in Road District Municipality.
Okay.
We need your help there. There's a huge or a big corruption that is taking place. One, the municipal manager was suspended there after posing some question to the mayor regarding the mayor who is also tendering within the institution that he is running. On the 27th of March, when the inquiry was supposed to sit, the mayor alone, without the council approval, wrote a letter to the municipal manager telling him that your appearance in this thing is not going to take place until further communication or until further investigation. The court judgment that the municipal manager won against the mayor, but the mayor still doesn't want to follow this court judgment. So I can even send you all these things on your WhatsApp, Katie, to see. There's a big problem. At the present moment, the municipal manager has been paid more than R1 million in terms of his salary. They also wanted to buy him out. The contract ends in 2027, which can be up to R4 million, because he doesn't want to answer to the allegation of fraud and corruption that are taking place in that district municipality.
So
There's
Wonga,
no water in Matatiele.
Wonga,
Yes.
just so that I understand some of the allegations that you're making. If the mayor is also a service provider in the municipality, we know that these decisions are decided on by panels that sit and award contracts. So effectively what you're saying is that the panel made up of municipal officials is also part of this then corruption scheme. Because there's no way, unless the mayor is using other people who are fronting on his behalf.
Not at all. Not at all.
Are you saying that a company in the mayor's name?
They know the company. They know almost everything. But now, for the municipal manager to pose those questions, it hit a danger to the mayor that now I will be liable or be responsible to answer this, and then all my things will be out in the loose. But my biggest worry is that whatever is taking place there, the court now between the municipality defending whatever is wrongdoing. They've already spent more than 2 million rands in court, with other 2 cases whereby certain managers who have passed the interviews are not being allowed to work, and then they are not the preference for the mayor.
Okay.
So it's a big problem. Even before you end this call, I can speak to your producer and then send everything via WhatsApp.
Let's do that, Wonga. Let's do that. Let's try and get all of the details, and we'll see when we'll be able to follow up on it on Municipal Watch.
Thank you.
Pule, you're out in Matlosana. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you, Pule?
All right. Cathy, you started by the Marikana case. If I listened well.
Yes.
Then, or it was the case that no. Let me leave that one. Let me come to the Jimmy Manye of this world and the Floyd of this world. I don't know, lack of a better word, can I call them political prostitute? Jimmy Manye was with the ANC. He formed a political party, the ATM. He left the ATM and he went to the EFF. He left the EFF, he went to the MK party. We can't trust these people that are still looking for a political home.
But Pule, is it really fair? Is it fair to compare Mzwanele Manyi, as he prefers to be called now, to Floyd Shivambu? Floyd Shivambu was part of the Youth League in the ANC with Julius Malema. He's had a political home for a long time. I don't think that the two are the same.
I think they share the same sentiments, Cathy, because they are looking for a political home. Let me put it this way: if what is that was not green, that Mzwandile Manye see it as green at the MK party. If it was not green at the EFF, he said people leave job gradually so, and for better, not for worse. Now I think they went to a political party which is MK because MK is better than the EFF. So you don't just leave your job as a EFM and join another radio station because you have been promised something. Because of the greener pastures.
Yes, the prospects for them might be better, but that's not a bad thing. It's not wrong. It's not illegal.
We heard Shivambu saying yesterday there is nothing that has been promised. Should we take him serious? Should we believe
well, we all know that's not true.
Yes. Now, and when we hear Malema, this political party that they cannot respect their own constitution. Malema said, according to the constitution of the EFF, once you leave, you cannot come back. But he's the only one who can override the constitution of the EFF. He said, this guy is welcome to come back. Without consulting the leadership, without consulting members of the EFF. So Malema, he's a bully. He can do whatever. Even go against the constitution of the EFF.
Pule, you don't think that he was saying it out of the emotions of the moment, and also the fact that Floyd Shivambu was such a big part of the EFF?
But Cathy, the constitution is the supreme document of the organization. Whatever, look, I normally say, whatever people say about the ANC has a process and has a constitution. Look how long they took to process the dismissal of Jacob Zuma through the constitution. But the EFF, somebody can stand up and dismiss people without consulting the leadership, without going process. Remember that the members that were fired for not hiring buses for the 10th anniversary of the EFF, one man stood up and said, "You are fired." All of you. One man stand up and said, "You are fired." How many press conferences that EFF had without seeing Floyd Shivambu speaking?
Okay. Pule?
We only hear Malema saying everything alone. Lastly, Casey, before you leave, Malema called Shivambu a sellout indirectly. He said he's not a sellout. He will never sell out to the EFF. He will drip with a flag on his grave of the EFF. So even if he remained alone, he will never sell out the EFF. So Shivambu was a sellout.
Yeah, but Pule, are these not? Are all of these comments not coming out of the moment, in that he still has to be a leader, he still has to instill some form of confidence in the people that are remaining in the organization?
We know Malema being a flip-flopper of Nundu Shivambu. Not long, 5 years ago, they were saying Zuma must go and rot in jail. They were criticizing in Kitama. Not long. Men first, black first. They were criticizing in Kitama. They are going to share the same podium. They are going to be political friends with Zuma. Not long, they were chanting a song, "Pay back the money." And they said Zuma must rot in jail. Not long, they said Zuma is not fit to lead the country. He has violated the oath of his office. Not long, they said Zuma cannot speak in parliament.
Okay, Pule.
Today, we are glorifying the man.
We're going to leave it there. Let's leave it there. Tumani, you're in Cape Town. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, Tumani.
Thank you for taking my call. Mine is brief. I just want to... I've got a completely different view from, I think, majority of people.
Please share it. Please share it.
I think this man is going into the belly of the beast to finish the beast. Because if you look, the emergence of MK has in somewhat affected the fortunes of EFF. So for me, I think it's strategic move from EFF to say, no, go in there and deal with this thing. I don't see EFF and MK live alongside each other and being successful. So the best that can happen was that. So, and I believe that that is the process which EFF has taken to go into this one, to deal with it from within. And I think this is because they missed the golden opportunity to join the GNU, and they realized that, no, we have made a mistake. We could have undermined this thing from inside. But let us go now and finish the enemy. And at the very same time, they are achieving their bigger goal of disrupting the ANC.
If you're going in, into the belly of the beast, as you put it, to finish the enemy, do you not do that undercover? Do you do it in plain sight? Hello, Tumani? All right, we've lost Tumani there. I think he's on the road. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. Station, you're out in Duduza. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm well, Station. Go for it.
People of Azania, EFF, MK, I think Remalema said it at Parliament when everybody was joining ANC. And he said, okay, thank you so much. We're going to be the official opposition. It's me. It is the EFF and MK. we are like this. We're gonna walk hand in hand. So I don't know what they say about Malema, what. But anyway, let me leave it there. You know, this thing, I think it is open to the public unless South Africans can't see what's happening. Something that is just clear there on their eyes. I mean, Zwanel, you've been the spokesperson of President Zuma for quite a long time. You can join EFF while you are still the spokesperson. A very senior member of the EFF is the lawyer of Mr. Zuma, is a lawyer of the MK. You see, and then people come still think that MK and EFF, they are not in collaboration of a kind. You see, I think Mzwanele said something yesterday when he was being interviewed on another news channel. He said this is just the kind of use of resources. Yeah, you see. So I think those people, they know everywhere. They fooled those who decide to be fooled when they said they knew nothing about this. It was because I think it's about the MK members, so that they think this is not a plot, or this is not a well arrangement between I could say MK
and
management and the EFF, because if you could look just to finish it, if you could look Cathy, right now MK doesn't have the structure. It doesn't have the top six. I think the deputy president of EFF, he will come there to be the deputy president of the MK, while Mr. Zuma is the leader. But after a while, Mr. Zuma will say, guys, that's it. Now I'm going home. I'm going to rest. I'm tired. Then deputy president of the EFF will be the president of the MK. Then the life goes on. You see, he's leading from that other side. They implement what they want to do, because what is their main purpose is to get hold of the ANC. So
station. We'll leave it there. Look, a lot can still happen between now and then as well, station. They always say 24 hours is a long time in politics. So what more for what will happen between now and the end of the year? Lloyd, you're on the South Coast. Good morning.
Good morning, Cathy. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
What I see in the movement of Floyd, it could either be personal upliftment, which is, I doubt that would be the case, considering the caliber of leaders in the MK party that is already there, and that is a Johnny Kamle. So I don't think he will rise as high as he rose in the EFF. So it's not about, I don't think it's that. But it could be the political prospects of him reaching his personal goal in politics can be better attained within the vehicle of the MK than the EFF. That is a little bit easier to imagine, considering that the MK is a bigger party now and is on an upward trajectory. But over and above that, what I think is the actual reason, it's most, or rather what is the bigger picture, whatever his motives are, it's the realignment of the voices of the black political parties, the realignment towards the bigger one, to have a more bigger voice, and possibly in the next election, possibly get to be a majority party.
So Lloyd, in your view, the push towards this conglomerate, effectively, of Black Party's Progressive Caucus. Do you foresee that potentially becoming a party, or that they will all still pursue their different political goals but come together once elections are done? So just like the GNU, effectively.
I initially thought it would go that direction, but now I'm seeing the MK party being the bigger one, kind of trying as much as it can to get the brains around in that space, and maybe trying to swallow the smaller parties by poaching their leaders.
Okay. All right, Lloyd, let's leave it there. Is it the first of many? Is that what is likely to happen? Well, we'll have to wait and see. It's time for your latest news update.
Thanks, Cathy. Top stories for this hour. Living conditions remain shocking in Marikana, and a new Joburg mayor to be voted in today. Good morning, I'm Eva Chipa. Some mine workers in Marikana near Rustenburg in the northwest say their living conditions remain appalling. This as the country commemorates the 12th anniversary of the Marikana massacre, in which police gunned down 34 Lonmin platinum mine workers at the infamous Kopi on August the 16th. At least 10 people, including mine workers, police officers and security guards, were killed in the days preceding the massacre. One of the mine workers has arrived at the Marikana Kopi.
Marikana Monash. In terms of basic services such as water, electricity and sanitation, we are still struggling and nothing has changed. The situation is still bad. They are now trying to improve our roads.
Meanwhile, no one has been held criminally accountable for the killing of the 34 Lonmin mine workers. Our reporter, Sintleng Lihihi, is at the site of the tragedy.
12 years ago, on this fateful day, 34 mine workers lost their lives. This is following wildcat strikes over minimum wage that was expected to be 12,500 and better living conditions. On the days preceding the killing of the 34 mine workers, we saw 10 people also being killed there, including security guards, police officers, and some mine workers. Many are lamenting that while we see prosecution for the killings that occurred on the days preceding the 34 killings, no one has been prosecuted or brought to book for the killings that happened on this land.
Action SA has expressed concern about the National Prosecuting Authority's decision to withdraw the charges against 95 Libyan nationals. They were arrested last month at an illegal military camp on a farm in Mpumalanga. Yesterday, the NPA announced its decision to withdraw all charges against the Libyans who were accused of contravening the Immigration Act, and they are now set to be deported to Libya. Action SA leader Herman Mashaba says the NPA has failed South Africans.
Our court system should have really established the identity of each and every one of them to understand why they've decided to come and train military in South Africa. What were they aiming to do? So for us as South Africans, now all of a sudden, no one is telling us why these people contravene our immigration laws, why these people were training military on the grounds of South Africa. And our government just decided to send them back to Libya. And I think we've got to be very careful and question this in South Africa.
The city of Johannesburg will today convene a special council meeting to vote for a new mayor. This follows the resignation of the party's Al-Jama party, Kabelo Kwamanda, in the midst of concerns about the deteriorating state of the metro. The MMC for Finance, Tata Morero, is now tipped to be the new mayor. The ANC has submitted his name to take over the highly contested position. And lastly, Taylor Swift is back on stage, this time in London, a week after her concerts in Vienna were cancelled over fears of a security threat. She was at Wembley Stadium last night for the first of a 5-night sellout show. The BBC's Mark Savage was there.
There was increased security at Wembley, and fans who didn't have tickets were warned to stay away. That didn't stop some of them gathering outside to sing along.
Touch me and you'll never be alone.
And they were just as enthusiastic as the fans who managed to get inside.
I think that she's like so sisterhood,
Like, she joins every single girl here.
I really think she's like an idol because she has been through so much and then she still like rises like a phoenix.
On stage, Taylor chose to celebrate her music, and there was a special treat in the shape of a surprise appearance from Ed Sheeran.
Recapping the top story for this hour, some mine workers in Marikana near Rustenburg in the northwest say the living conditions remain appalling. This as the country commemorates the 12th anniversary of the Marikana massacre, in which police gunned down 34 Lonmin platinum mine workers at the infamous Kopi on August the 16th. I'll be back at the bottom of the hour. For SFM News, I'm Eva Chipa.
Winners, finalists, fan favorites, and viral sensations from previous seasons of America's Got Talent return to the stage to compete for the All-Star title. Join Heidi Klum, Howie Mandel, and Simon Cowell as they decide who is the best of the best. The creme de la creme, the top dog, is in Tamatota. It's a festival of talent on America's Got Talent All-Stars. Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. on S3. Channel your best entertainment with America's Got Talent All-Stars. Only on S3. Open up.
20 outfits of the Premier League are back on the battlefield for another spectacular season, with ambitions to play the world's most competitive and compelling football.
Rodri! City 3! West Ham 1!
This is the massive fight for the ultimate glory.
Caicedo, is he going to try and beat him from inside his own arm? Oh, Moises Caicedo! I can't believe it! What a way to score your first Chelsea goal!
Experience the 2024-2025 Premier League season on Saturdays at 3 p.m. live on SABC3 and at your fingertips on SABC Plus. Also available on sabcsport.com. Hashtag we love it here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
The world's best cooking show is finally here. MasterChef South Africa Season 5. You'll meet 20 talented home cooks from around Mzansi, noma uphumaphi, and no matter your favorite dish, see if the chefs can handle the heat in the kitchen in a race to be crowned MasterChef South Africa. Every Saturday, 7:30 p.m. only on S3 Channel 193. MasterChef South Africa, the world's best cooking show, proudly sponsored by Pick n Pay.
SABC Sport, the proud broadcaster of the Olympic Games Paris 2024, celebrates Team SA medalists.
A brilliant silver for Johan van Dijk.
The plan was to win a medal. That was the goal. So I'm just so grateful and thankful that everything went as it should. For me, it's to be an inspiration to all the younger girls in South Africa. There's so much power and passion. I think our South African women really have a lot of resilience.
For the love of the game.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
Welcome to the second hour of the show. You're listening to The Talking Point. Coming up in this hour, we're reflecting on Marikana 12 years on. Today marks the 12th commemoration of the Marikana massacre, and what a day it was for this country, a post-democratic state that experienced such mass killings, and the fact that even to date, right, 12 years on, there has still been very little accountability, very little political accountability, especially for the killing of those miners on that day. And of course, there was a number of events that ultimately led to the massacre. So we'll be reflecting on that in the next hour. Before we get into it, lots of your WhatsApp voice notes from the open line. We'll start off the hour with that.
Good morning, Cathy. Cathy, the resignation of this guy, it was long overdue because the guy never given a chance by the EFF president. And the move from EFF to Mkondo, that shows a hunger to this guy.
Well,
Well. You know what? The conspiracies, Cathy, that are circulating are true. Floyd is only moving to the MK for his political career. Floyd is moving to the MK to help the MK to actually develop their policies because manifesto yabo is not that clear. So the Progressive Party, they've taken a decision that Floyd must actually move to MK to help MK ukuthi develop ama policies abo. And I think for the progressive parties, this is a good move. We need abantu abafana nabo Floyd to go to MK to help them prepare to develop or construct their policies. Viva Progressive Party.
Good morning, SKT. On my view, I wonder why should Shivambu join MK, because I remember during the payback the money, he was the one who, hey, Zuma must pay back the money, and when are you going to pay? How can he can join the MK or he join the corrupt person? I don't think he took a right decision. He can go to ATM, other political parties, not MK. Or maybe he's going to help them to corrupt more.
They fell down just like dominoes. They fell down just like dominoes. They fell down just like dominoes. Who's next? Denzel from Kimberley.
Yeah, I guess it's the vibe of the Friday wind down that's already, seeping its way through our listeners. Yeah, it's a conversation that we're going to continue to have, especially as Floyd Shivambu takes on his new role in the MK party. And this is not the last that we'll be talking about this. The 6 days of violence, which culminated with the Marikana massacre in Rustenburg in the north, or near Rustenburg in the Northwest Province, are indelible memories for the relatives of the victims and, of course, the global community. Our reporter, Sintleleng Lihihi, and video journalist Jabu wa Africa take a look back at the days that led to the fateful events of 16 August 2012, and most importantly reflect on what has happened since. So we'll bring you this particular report by our reporters, and then on the other side of that we will invite some guests who will be part of the conversation as we reflect on 12 years of Marikana.
The mine workers' strike at Lonmin Platinum Mine at Marikana started on the 9th of August 2012. The rock drill operators demanded a monthly salary of 12,500 rand and improved living conditions. Between 12th and 14th August 2012, 10 people were killed, 6 mine workers, 2 Lonmin security guards, and 2 police officials. 3 of the mine workers and the 2 police officials died in a clash between police and striking workers on the afternoon of 13th August 2012. Attempts to reach a truce with striking mine workers were ongoing. Lonmin refrained from issuing striking workers with letters warning of dismissals to avoid harming ongoing negotiations. By the afternoon of the 16th, police action to contain the mine workers erupted into violent confrontation, culminating in the massacre of 34 mine workers by the South African Police Service. The killings took place at 2 locations roughly 500 meters apart, with 17 people fatally wounded at each of these locations. The majority of the deceased were killed by shots from the R5 assault rifles used by the SAPS. At least 78 mine workers were injured and 259 were later arrested.
On the 23rd of August 2012, then-President Jacob Zuma appointed retired judge of the Supreme Court of Appeal, Ian Falam, to chair the Marikana Commission of Inquiry. A chain of letters between high-profile persons, including Cyril Ramaphosa, at the time a non-executive director of Lonmin, former police minister Nathi Mthethwa, former mineral resource minister Susan Shabangu, and former National Police Commissioner Ria Piega took center stage. In particular, Ramaphosa's letters, which labeled the strike as a criminal act, were highly scrutinized. But the Marikana Commission's final report, submitted to the presidency on the 31st of March 2015, absolved Ramaphosa of having a hand in the events leading to the massacre. The report blamed Lonmin for failure to engage with workers and the trade unions operating in that sector. NUM and AMCU were also found to not have had full control of their members who embarked on the unprotected strike. However, questions remained around why only some government officials had been held to account and others, including the Minister of Police and Minister of Mineral Resources, had not, and also why the NPA had not taken action against 72 police officers who had been identified for prosecution for their role in the killings. As far as prosecutions go, the former Northwest Deputy Police Commissioner William Mpembe and 5 others are facing charges of murder in connection with the 2012 Marikana killings. On the other hand, 17 mine workers are also facing multiple charges relating to the murder of 10 people in the days before August 16th. Families of slain Marikana miners who are demanding an apology from President Ramaphosa are also suing the state and the president. About 200 million rand was paid to those affected by the Marikana massacre. Sintle Inglihihi, SABC News, Marikana.
On that note, let me welcome onto the show Nomzamo Zondo, the Executive Director at the Socio-Economic Rights Institute of South Africa. Nomzamo, good morning.
Good morning, Cathy. Thank you so much for having me.
Mamedi Sibeye is the president of the General Industries Workers Union of South Africa and also coordinator of the National Strike Committee that coordinated the strike which followed the massacre. Mamedi, good morning.
Morning to SFA.
All right, and we're also hoping that we're going to be joined by an official who will be representing AMCU in this conversation. Before we get into it, perhaps let's just take a quick break and then I'm back with more.
20 outfits of the Premier League are back on the battlefield for another spectacular season with ambitions to play the world's most competitive and compelling football.
Rodri! City 3! West Ham 1!
This is the massive fight for the ultimate glory.
I say no, is he going to try and beat him from inside his own arm? Oh, Moises Caicedo! I can't believe it! What a way to score your first Chelsea goal!
Experience the 2024-2025 Premier League season on Saturdays at 3 p.m. live on SABC3 and at your fingertips on SABC Plus. Also available on sabcsport.com. Hashtag we love it here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
AVBOB is sharing mutual value with AVBOB members like never before. Introducing AVBOB Member Rewards. Qualifying AVBOB members now enjoy even more benefits. Don't miss out on your chance to get rewarded. Visit the AVBOB website to learn more or simply register on the AVBOB self-service portal at self-service.avbob.co.za to opt in or visit your nearest AVBOB branch for assistance.
SABC Sport, the proud broadcaster of the Olympic Games Paris 2024, celebrates Team SA medalists.
Oh, this is close! Simbine and the South Africans finally get a medal with the silver, and at last, Akani Simbine is an Olympic medalist. I'm really pleased for Simbine.
Everyone has been wishing for a medal for me, and I've got my medal now. I'm really happy with getting the medal.
For the love of the game.
Cathy Mohlahlana on SAFM.
All right, you're listening to The Talking Point. So let's continue then our conversation on Marikana. Nomzamo Zondo is the Executive Director of SERI, South Africa. Nomzamo, good morning to you. Firstly, 12 years post Marikana, and the overwhelming sense is that we have not actually come far enough on various factors, on the issue of giving families the answers that they need, on the issue of providing services for minors, particularly in the area of Marikana. The other issue also being the fact that there are still so many questions that remain unanswered politically around accountability that simply has not happened at the scale that it should have happened. Why is it that 12 years on, there are still so many unanswered questions?
Look, Cathy, I think it's important for us to acknowledge that if ordinary South Africans, the minors and the families, have not campaigned and struggled for justice, would be in an even worse position. It is important to say that if we imagine where we were in 2012 in August, where in effect not only were the minors being blamed for killing their comrades, they were actually been arrested and prosecuted by the National Prosecuting Authority. So to be here 12 years on, in a situation where we've been able to get information through the Commission of Inquiry of what happened, who discharged their firearms so many times, to know about the mortuary vans, to know that there's minutes of the meeting of the 15th of August, the National Management Forum meeting of the SACs, which we need to get, shows that there's at least some ground that we have covered. Of course, on the other side of that expectation is that we live in a constitutional democracy where the right to life is entreated and protected, where the right to dignity, where the right to family life is protected, which means that what happened in August 2012 should not have happened at all, let alone what has happened since then. And you speak about, in fact, in the strike, of course, there was a call for a living wage. But the miners were also fighting for the living conditions in Marikana. They're also fighting for the living conditions in the rural villages that they come from. And in relation to both, we haven't seen a lot of progress. In fact, community members have continued to say, we remain without assistance, we remain without basic services. We have not received houses that were promised to us, and that complaint remains. The one thing that's been very, very difficult is the state's refusal to provide an apology, to acknowledge the injustice and to acknowledge the massacre. And the second thing is the delay in prosecuting for the deaths that occurred on the 16th of August. And the problem with that is because it is within the state's terrain to give the family justice because of how our system works. Our system says you can be wronged as an individual, but it is the state that prosecutes. And it's the state that investigates and then prosecutes. But for the families to have had to wait 12 years, and then even today, when the 12th year ends, they do not know when the prosecution of those who killed their loved ones on the 16th will come. That's really, really difficult.
Mameti, let me bring you in here to reflect again on where we are with the journey of Marikana 12 years on.
Look, I think Comrade Nomzamo has provided important perspectives. But I think just to add, from our position, Marikana was an act of a premeditated, politically premeditated, bloody massacre of the workers who were demanding nothing more than just the promise really of 1994. I mean, 12,500, even then, was a very modest, legitimate, and quite a reasonable demand that was perfectly affordable by the mining industry. And I think this is a very important point to underline, because there is an issue now, it's almost as if Marikana massacre was just a series of accidents in that particular day and so on. What the evidence that has been uncovered and has been made clear both from the investigations by the journalists, by the academics, by the commission, all of that does reveal that the massacre itself was a product of a consciously planned police operation, approved, executed, and approved at the highest echelons of the state power. And I think that's very important, because it is not just a question of the person of Ramaphosa that I'm going to come to, and his now infamous email, that that urged and acted the state to carry out a concomitant action against what he termed an act of criminality. It is the fact that the whole ANC leadership at the time was implicated, and I think that's very important because today we're hearing some of these people that were head of the states, and today being the champions of the movement for economic freedom, a movement that only became such a clarion and inspiring call at the back of the blood massacre of these workers. And that's the level of treachery that is going on here and so on. And I think much more than that, the very election of Ramaphosa as a deputy president of the ANC, the very election of Nathi Mthethwa, who was the head of the police at the time, to top the list of the ANC in the Congress following the massacre, itself is a demonstration that not only the ANC leadership as a whole, not only the mining bosses, but the entire ruling class was united behind the need to drown the struggle of the mine workers in blood. And why? It is not just because of 12,500. And I think you could have seen we made a point even at the time, that the mine bosses could perfectly afford that amount, but much more important is the fact that the demand of 12,500 itself was a negotiable demand. And there was that understanding between both the mine workers and the mining bosses. It only became such an iconic rallying call for the mine workers after the demand was now, written by the blood of the mine workers, and that became the martyrs of Marikana. Before that time, it was just a wage demand like any other. Now, why is it that the ANC felt, along with the mine bosses, that they had to respond the way that they did? You see, the most faithful decision of the mine workers was to appoint, or rather to elect, an independent strike committees outside of NUM, and to reject both NUM and, of course, the collective bargaining structures, which, if you understand the context at the time, it is because what the mine workers were actually revolting against was the tripartite alliance, not only that is represented by the alliance of the ANC, the SACP, and COSATU at national and on the political level, but which is also replicated through network, through cooperative structures and collective bargaining structures at industry and workplaces, which are central to the political and economic architecture for the management of the capitalist system in the post-1994 period. For the mine workers, these collective bargaining systems and the unions that are responsible for them is the same system that has ensured poverty wages, a brutal austerity, and that maintained a system of colonial slave wages that ensured long, hard-working, hours for pittance in form of pay, but also the onslaught on the benefits, including housing, including transport, including food, that have impoverished the mine workers. So that is what the revolt was against, and the mine bosses and the ruling class understood if they allowed the mine workers to get away with it at Lone Lane, it was going to lead to a revolt of the workers across the whole of the economy and undermine the system of governance of their system, in the whole of the economy that relied on COSATU tying the workers to a tripartite alliance that ensured maintenance of capitalism and its exploitation of the workers in this country.
All right. So thanks for that contribution, Mameti. And I think if you listen to Mameti there, he believes that, there is a bigger conspiracy, political conspiracy, economic conspiracy, and collaboration, as you heard there, between mining bosses, politicians of the day, that ultimately culminated in the events of Marikana. We'll continue the conversation shortly. It's 10:30. Time for your latest news headlines.
In news making headlines for this hour, the Association of Mine Workers and Construction Union AMCU says it will continue to fight for improved wages for mine workers. This as the country commemorates the 12th anniversary of the police killing of 34 Lonmin platinum mine workers on the infamous Kopi near Rustenburg in the northwest. In other news, healthcare workers affiliated to the Public Servants Association are picketing outside the Prince Msheni Memorial Hospital in Umlazi, south of Durban. They've accused management of maladministration and nepotism. And lastly, Baseka Pastamboro Mzuneng and 2 others are this morning expected to appear in the Palm Ridge Magistrate Court east of Johannesburg for the hearing of their bail application. They are facing a number of charges including assault, intimidation and contravention of the Dangerous Weapons Act. I'll be back at 11 with more news. For SFM News, I'm Eva Chipa.
Taking a look at your markets this morning, the rand is currently trading at 17 rand 96 to the dollar, 23 rand 13 to the pound, and 19 rand 73 to the euro. Markets in Asia were higher at the closing bell. The JSE green across the board in mid-morning trade. Markets in Europe are mainly higher this hour. Gold is trading at $2,462, platinum $953 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $80.88 a barrel.
The basic needs of the masses of the people must be addressed.
When scores of South Africans across the country cast their first democratic vote in those long crisscrossing queues, Renerilida. When we laid our hands on that coveted Webb Ellis Cup for the very first time, Renerilida.
Hey, Tada. Nice.
When Mzansi's early risers beat daybreak in huddles of 4-4 Mahlalisane to dig precious gold and keep our economy alive, Rida. Through the TV screen, the mobile app, and the unshakable power of radio, we are the gateway to the twists and turns of Mzansi's maturing democracy. Weave your brand into the fabric of South Africa's colorful story and be there. Contact SABC Sales at sabc.co.za for more.
Get ready for a theatrical experience like no other. Joburg Theatre and Theatre du Soleil present 1789, a gripping production that explores the dark side of power and corruption. Directed by Phyllis Klotz and Small Ndaba, with Joel Zuma at the helm of musical direction, this play will leave you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss this critically acclaimed sensation by securing your tickets now at www.joburgtheatre.com.
SAFM is celebrating its 88th birthday, and what better way to celebrate than with you, our loyal listener. We will be giving away 8,800 to 10 lucky listeners during the month of August. To stand a chance of winning, stay tuned to SAFM and SMS the keyword SAFM88 followed by your name to 41391 and listen to the station throughout the day where you could be selected as a winner. SMSs are charged at R1.50 per SMS. Free SMSs and SMS bundles do not apply.
Hashtag SAFM Talking Point.
You're listening to The Talking Point. We are reflecting on 12 years of Marikana. I'm joined by Nomza Mazondo, who is with Siri. She's the Executive Director there, and Mamedi Sibe, President of the General Industry Workers Union of South Africa. Nomzamo, the conversation that has been had over a number of years was around the lessons that we believe government as a whole has learned from the Marikana massacre and the extent to which that has influenced policing in this country, how police respond, particularly to particularly public order policing in times of crisis like what the situation was in Marikana. Do you have a sense now that there is that change?
Definitely not. I think our experience, so after Marikana, the next big protest we saw was Fees Must Fall. So from 2015, the experiences of students in 2015, 2016, 2017, I think even in every other student uprising we've seen since then, we've continued to see problematic policing of crowd situations. To the extent that when the police killed Mr. Thokozile Ntumba in March, I think it was 2021, it was then that Minister Begitole then released the panel of experts report, which was one of the outcomes of the Marikana Commission of Inquiry, where the police were then supposed to draw lessons on how they could police crowds differently. And he released the report because it'd been sitting for over a year to kind of say it's precisely because experts were saying we should be doing better than we're doing now. Marikana should have taught us better, and the panel of experts report and this recommendation should have been implemented. And then he gave us the report, and 3 years later we have nothing on the implementation of that report. So unfortunately, our experience is that government has not learned, and that applies to policing. You can then ask, what about the National Prosecuting Authority? Again, similar thing. Thokozile Ntumba's death was prosecuted immediately, and even though we saw on video as a country the police kill him, those police were acquitted of his murder. So again, bringing questions around the NPA's willingness and competence to prosecute crimes by the police. In other communities that Seri works with, communities like Abahlali Basemjondolo, the experience has been that there is an unwillingness to assist in matters where there's been police killings, whether it is from IPID as an investigating directorate or it is the NPA in prosecuting.
What is at the heart of these failures, Nomzamo? Is it a case of unwillingness? Because, of course, the police aren't supposed to be investigating themselves. These are matters that IPID is supposed to also be stepping in. But we know about the difficulties that particular body has had with funding, sometimes even a separation in terms of internal resources, right? Because you'll have police that are seconded to IPID, but that they must now, investigate their colleagues. So there are various dynamics that come into play. But at the heart of it, where do you think the failures stem from? Because the system is built in such a way that there should be checks and balances.
Look, so I mean, you're right to say there are institutional questions, there are questions of resources, but also political willingness is at the center of it. So, for instance, if you ask about Marikana, you can understand that the NPA says it's a question of resources, but you then say we are standing now 9 years from the release of almost 9 years from the release of the commission's report. When they start their investigation, are they seriously saying that in 9 years they were unable to put together resources to do this? It would be difficult. Institutionally, for the IPID, whenever someone is killed in an incident by the police, IPID, before they can prosecute that person, they have to send a report to the SAPS, and SAPS must concur on the prosecution of that person. I'm saying this from experiences, again, from our work with Abahlali Basemjondolo. So both institutionally, the design of the system is to actually avoid accountability and actually further impunity on the one hand. And then on the other hand, the resources are not being made available now from National Treasury, from the Department of Justice, and the NPA itself is not prioritizing these types of matters. I mean, the fact that it's Cathy, yesterday there was a big announcement in the political space, but every news bulletin is leading with it being the top anniversary of the Marikana massacre. So are you telling me that the NPA has missed those news bulletins every year and has not decided that Marikana is a priority for them and a priority that must be given resources? Similarly for IPID, who can say they have challenges of funding, but have they said within our resources, actually, Marikana is not a priority? Can that happen outside of a lack of political will? I don't think so.
And Mami, just to add to what Nomzamo was saying, because we're having this conversation 12 years on, we're at a point now where we don't even doubt or question the extent to which this has been a priority. It's clear that it has not been a priority.
Yes, I mean, there's a bigger issue about the humanization of the black people that is part of the legacy of racism, of colonialism, in this country and across the world. But there's also something I think we've got to come back to, right? This illusion that the criminal justice system is not made up of, human flesh, people with human flesh and human interest in what is actually happening in a broader society, I think is what it is. It's just what it is, an illusion. And I think we'll be naive to encourage the view that this is just issues of incompetence and other things. And I know that Comrade Nomzam doesn't suffer such an illusion. The reality is, when it came to the issue of the massacre, and that's a point that I was trying to make, there was a consensus within the ruling class as a whole, both the corporate and the political establishment in the country. And if you want to know what is the highest court of the land, the highest court of the land is ultimately the public opinion of the top echelons of society. That is those people that actually make decisions that, determine and my life, you and I, both at the political but also at the economic level. And the reality is, across the board, it was not just the ANC. I was there and I can tell you, the DA that normally would criticize the ANC, the only thing that they complained about, I remember around that time, was the fact that the ANC did not consult them properly when they were declaring what effectively became a state of emergency in the mine. Absolutely nothing about the massacre and the bloody murder of these particular workers. Why? Because what both the DA, the ANC, and the entire establishment understood, as I was saying earlier on, is that in the acts of Marikana workers was actually the revolt, the insurgency of the mine workers, not only against the poverty wages, not only for 12,500 rand, which, as I said before, they and everybody else who is having experience of negotiations on the industrial plane knows that workers, when they start a demand with 12,500, they don't think by any stretch of imagination that that is where they are going to end. So the mine bosses, the loan mill management, had an option of negotiating with those workers, finding compromises. That was ruled out. Why? And the loan mill management was put under pressure by every one of them that they should not dare to negotiate with an independent mine committees, because in the decision of those workers to set up those committees, what they were revolting against, as I've said, was really the way in which the post-1994 period resulted in a settlement that effectively meant a continuation with this and that freedom that we have politically, but a continuation of the same colonial slavery of a cheap black migrant labor, in respect of which all of them are united. And they understood that if they let it happen at Marikana, what it will happen is that it resonates with workers across the whole of the economy. Because you have to take the context at that time, right? One is that the massacre did not fall out of the blue sky, by the way. What people don't know is that exactly 10 days before the massacre, there was a shooting of 3 mine workers at a neighboring mine at Aquaras. In the whole period of the late 2000s, which is when I began to organize in that Rustenburg Platinum Belt, I can tell you, there was an official worker strikes, a mine after the other. There was a strike at Longville itself in 2011 where I organized. There was a strike at Impala Platinum earlier in 2012. And in each of those strikes, it was clear that there was an escalation in the confrontation between the mine workers and the mine bosses. And I think from the point of view of the mine bosses and the political establishment is that that insurgency had to be put down, because the crisis that actually was a factor behind that insurgency, affected the vast sections of the economy. What was the base of that crisis? The crisis considered in effect that in that period, the platinum prices were plummeting, and therefore the need of the mine bosses to defend but also increase their profits at the time was in irreconcilable contradiction with the demands of the workers to defend and increase their wages and defend the quality of those particular wages against inflation, against the rising cost of living. And it was that which set a scene for the bloody confrontation that gave us that massacre. So there was consensus, not only within the criminal justice system, but across the entire ruling class, that massacre was necessary. That's the reason that even your DA, that normally would be making noise on these issues, was mute on this particular issue.
Yeah, look, Mameti, I hear you in terms of your view of the broader political conspiracy, right? But I think that pointing out the DA as a party alone of not making enough noise around it, well, how many political parties do we have in this country? How many of them actually stayed the course with Marikana? Because it has been largely just the EFF, and so to a large extent, the issue of humanizing these individuals, humanizing these families, is something that political parties, it seems, have failed to do by and large.
That's the point. I'm just pointing the DA, right? Because the rest of so-called black parties, many of them are close to the ANC, but the fact of the matter is, right, all of them without exception were united. And even the EFF, by the way, right, for the most part, they use that issue to campaign, and you just have to look at the decision of, Floyd Shivambu to join the party of the man that was literally at the head of the state apparatus that carried out the massacre, right? That gave birth to a movement in whose name he's actually dressing himself today. The movement for economic freedom, right? Without the massacre of the Marikana workers, there would not have been an EFF in its modern incarnation. It was launched at Marikana. It was the working class revolt in the platinum mining industry, but also the recognition that the Marikana massacre forced on the millions of people in this country, that the ANC is a government not only of the capitalist class, but a bloody anti-working class government that is prepared to carry out the massacre of the mine workers in defense of the profit, and that's the same determination. The fact that it would even go on to join a party of the man that was the president and was responsible in the final analysis for the decision to drown those mine workers, it just shows how liquid, or rather, the only principle, yes, is a lack of principles.
Okay, Mameti, let's pause it there. I want to bring in some of the views from our listeners. We'll begin with those that have sent some voice notes on the WhatsApp line.
Good morning, Cathy. Look, man, Captain, hope you all. Cathy, for me, just because nobody has been held accountable, criminally accountable, it's really horrific. But for me, the most important thing also is, Cathy, the living conditions of people staying in Marikana is still atrocious, which is really, I can't understand a mine that's making millions and billions are not being forced by government to help people living there. No water, no electricity, no refuse removal. I mean, I need answers from the guest, please. When are this going to change for the people there? It's our minerals, and it's going to a London mine, a London-owned mine, and our people staying in squalor. The government must give us answers here. Thank you.
Good morning, Cathy, and good morning to SAFM listeners. You're speaking to Honorable Magwekha Kubana. Cathy, it's so really painful. Those politicians, they told us, and they show us a middle finger. They told us we are not equal. The life of the poor people is not equal like the life of politicians. Tell me, Cathy, Who was the minister of the police that time? And where is she? Or where is he? I just want to put like that. Where is she? Did she hold accountable? No. President promised people many times to go to Marikana. Did he go? No. It means poor black. Thank you.
Good day, SFM. I would like to agree with everything that the comrade from the union is saying, but I think us on the left, we have to be even more self-critical, because the left has we need to be working on building our own structures and building our own political structures, not just structures that look for basic payments and things like that. And I think that's where we're stuck as on the left. The problem with the government, we already knew that the government is a capitalist government wanting to exploit people and doing very little for workers. And it's a current state for all South Africans. So on the left, we need to be self-critical. We need to think about how can we rebuild our political movement.
All right, thanks for that contribution. Yeah, an interesting take there in terms of the ideological perspective too, right? And that can really be a conversation we have on another day, because there is a conversation to be had about political ideology in this country, what parties claim to be versus in practice what they actually are. Anonymous, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Anonymous. You want to contribute to the conversation?
Yes, I'm the relative of one of the policemen that was decapitated and killed during the Marikana.
Oh, Anonymous, I'm sorry to hear that, and condolences to you and your family.
And sometimes I wonder what we human beings become when there was nothing wrong with the strike. I support the strike. They were striking for the wages. But I think there is a red line that we as a society need to draw. To say, whenever we are striking for our rights, but we can't come to a level where we get to uncharted waters. Because honestly, truly speaking, from the bottom of my heart, if I was the policeman at that point in time, where my colleague was decapitated in that sense, I would be in uncharted waters. I would not really know what to do but to revenge. We create uncharted, and we have allowed it. This thing has been going on. Strikes in the trains, people being, clothes being removed, some of them being thrown out of the windows. Let's learn as a community that while we fight for our own rights, let's not go above the law to uncharted waters where we animally do these things to each other. Both sides, the police and the striking workers, because we know he was killed by the striking workers. There's no doubt about that. But that level was animalistic. And if you create that kind of a situation, you create a very difficult situation which we are facing today. Because I would have done that as well. I'm sorry to say that, and I'm not against the striking workers. They were striking for their right, but the level that they got to, the level that we get to as striking workers, it's not acceptable. You can't have one person dead and then you cry about the other person dying. People should not die, period. I end this.
All right, Anonymous, thank you. Thanks for making that point there. Yeah, Charlie, you're calling from Coffee Fontaine. Good morning.
Good morning, Cathy.
Yes, Charlie.
Yes, man. I've been listening to the speeches, the commemorations and everything, and this has been happening every year. I'm asking myself is that, have we become so heartless that we forget that before the 34 miners were killed, there were 10 human beings. There were husbands, there were fathers, there were sons, there were cousins. 10 human beings have been killed by the same miners that we now say we want to commemorate. Those miners, those security officers, those policemen also had people who loved them. But no, we are only focusing on those 10. We're only on those 34. It's heartbreaking that to see that politicians are using the death of those 34 miners for political expediencies. They're advancing their own political interests, the unions and everything. The media is also complicit in that, because between the date of the 12th and the 14th, 10 people were killed, but we seldom read about it or hear about it in the news. It's only now when it's on the 16th, then we get to hear about the Marikana massacre of the 34 who were killed. That's why I'm asking, have we become so desensitized to crime that we can just focus on one aspect of the event that happened and not on the others which happened prior to that one?
Yeah, look, and Charlie, probably part of the reason why that happens, and I'm not saying that it's correct, but it also has to do with just how far down the list of issues up for national debate Marikana has become, right? Because 12 years ago, or even 10 years ago, there was still a lot of interest in pursuing stories around Marikana and trying to get to the bottom of what has happened. I don't know that is still the case today.
You know, and the other thing which surprises me the most is that some of these political parties, especially the EFF, this is not me being a favorite of anyone, because politicians are not one of my favorite people. They are putting the blame squarely on Cyril Ramaphosa. Jacob Zuma was in charge at the time. He was the president. Even at the interview, I forgot that guy's name, but he's not South African, he's a white guy from outside. He even explained why the police responded to the way they responded. But no, our politicians are deaf to what Zuma is saying, because now they have gotten in bed with him. They are going to after Ramaphosa, which if there anything to do with it, I would fully support it. But Zuma was the president at the time, you know. So if we can listen to that interview that Zuma did, he justified what the police did, even though he didn't say it in so many numbers, but you could read between the lines.
Okay.
Now, yes, but finishing my point now. What I'm trying to say is that people who have lost their lives, those who are responsible for doing so, have never been brought to book. We want justice for the 34 miners which were killed, but we never sing the same song for the 10 who were killed prior to the miners.
Okay. All right, Charlie, I'm going to have to leave it there with you. Unfortunately, we're completely out of time, and I would like to give our guests also an opportunity to come back and weigh in on the conversation. So, Mamiti, let me then maybe begin with you. Please, very briefly, you've got 30 seconds. Reflect on what our listeners have said, and also just your final contribution.
Yes, look, I think we've got to see that the contradictions as well as the crisis that I think was the background to the bloody events of Marikana, ever since 2012, not only have they remained unresolved, they have widened, they've deepened. Many workers have lost incomes, particularly in the context of COVID. Wages have been falling in real terms in the past few years. Unemployment has almost doubled from 4.6 million at the time to almost 8.4 million today, excluding 3.2 2 million people that have given up of employment, the levels of poverty, the housing crisis, every service that the working class people require, of course, to maintain their quality of life in Marikana and everywhere across the country. All of that have collapsed. And I think those conditions cry out more for the challenge that the comrade put. The crisis of organization and the building of the movement of the working class in workplaces, in communities, and coming with a common fighting and a political strategy to unifying and coordinating all of these struggles in all the main theaters of the working class to make sure that we take and seize political power.
Okay.
But not just only political power. We need to nationalize the mines. We need to nationalize economy, our minerals, our land. It's the only way that we can be able to redress and make sure that the economy works in the interest of everybody, not just us.
All right. All right, Mamiti. Thanks for that. Nomzamo?
Thanks. I would just like to invite your listeners to follow Ferry on Twitter, to go on our website. They will learn about the 10 people who died before the massacre. They will learn that 5 of them, the police are currently charged with those murders, but the Northwest High Court will decide on the 5th of September, where the police have to answer to that case. And also because I think it's important that people have facts. We don't just mourn the 34 lives that passed away on the 16th. We mourn the 10 lives before. We mourn Hassan Fundi and Fazma Pelani, who were lawnman security guards. We mourn Hendrik Mene and Natalie Park, who were the 2 police officers. And we mourn the three of Terry's clients, Mr. Mati, Mr. Sukanyile, Mr. Chukanesi, who were killed by the police on the 13th of August. But it's important that we come, we follow this information, and then we engage, as you point out, that if maybe it's not in the media, then let's follow platforms that can give us that information.
Okay. We're going to leave it there for this morning. Thank you all for your contribution to the conversation. It's time for your latest news update.
Top stories for this hour. AMCU vows to continue to fight for mine workers, and Pastor Mboro and co-accused back in court. Good morning, I'm Eva Chipa. The Association of Mine Workers and Construction Union, AMCU, says it will continue to fight for improved wages for mine workers. This as the country commemorates the 12th anniversary of the police killing of 34 Lonmin platinum mine workers on the infamous Kopi near Rustenburg in the northwest. Their deaths followed the mine workers' protracted strike to demand better wages and living conditions. 10 people, including mine workers, police officers and security guards, were killed in the days preceding the massacre. The AMCU Deputy President, Manyati Putuma.
Over the past 12 years, we have managed to push as AMCU, on average, the increase on the basic wage. We have managed to push it at least to a point where there's never been an increase of less than 1,000, and that has managed to take them over the past 12 years, because if you take that 4,000 together with the 12 years of 1,000 increase every year, they're now sitting, the minimum for the lowest paid employee is sitting at 16,000 on basic, excluding other benefits.
Meanwhile, some mine workers in Marikana say their living conditions remain appalling. One of them has arrived at the Kopi.
Marikana Monash. In terms of basic services such as water, electricity and sanitation, we are still struggling and nothing has changed. The situation is still bad. They are now trying to improve our roads.
Healthcare workers affiliated to the Public Servants Association are picketing outside the Prince Mshieni Memorial Hospital in Umlazi, south of Durban. They've accused management of maladministration and nepotism. The workers say a number of unresolved challenges, such as staff shortages, poor working conditions, have burdened the hospital for many years.
We want change in our units. The units that I'm working in is very, very toxic. The managers, they don't want to listen to us. We're having a lot of problems. We need change. That's what we need. We need change. We need to be heard. We need the managers to come down and listen to us, because we've got a lot of problems. With our units manager, plus even the CEO, it doesn't want to listen to us, doesn't want to come down.
With our safety, work safety at work, the conditions that we're working under are very intense, and we are subjected to hijacking and theft of our belongings. while out in the field. So yeah, I just want to share my views.
In other news, Paseka Pastor Mboro Mtseneng and two others are this morning expected to appear in the Palm Ridge Magistrate Court east of Johannesburg for the hearing of their bail application. They are facing a number of charges including assault, intimidation and contravention of the Dangerous Weapons Act. This relates to a video that went viral on social media showing Pastor Mboro armed with a panga alongside a gunman forcibly entering the Matshidiso Primary School in Katlehong in Ekurhuleni. Buseletso Mokwena reports.
Mboro's arrest follows a dispute between the paternal and maternal sides of the family over the children's custody after their mother's passing earlier this year. Their mother was married to Motshweneng's son, Vincent Revival Motshweneng. The self-proclaimed prophet, together with his son and his bodyguard, stormed the school premises and left with the two boys aged 5 and 7 years old. The trio appeared in court last week but were not asked to plead. They were remanded in custody pending a bail hearing. Puseletso Mokwena, SABC News.
And lastly, the search for the missing French under-18 rugby player Mehdi Narjisi is continuing in Cape Town. A rip current swept Narjisi while swimming with some teammates at Deers Beach in Cape Point about a week ago. France has subsequently withdrawn from the under-18 international series. The NSRI spokesperson Craig Lambinon says the emergency medical services and Metro Rescue Squad are on alert to assist police in their ongoing search.
Thoughts, care and compassion are with the family, friends and the rugby team of the missing teenager in this difficult time. French authorities and authorities of the City of Cape Town, tourism, are assisting with counselling and logistics.
Recapping the top story for this hour. The Association of Mine Workers and Construction Union AMCU says it will continue to fight for improved wages for mine workers. This as the country commemorates the 12th anniversary of the police killing of 34 Lonmin Platinum mine workers on the infamous Kopi near Rustenburg in the northwest. Utile Sako will be back at the bottom of the hour with more news for SFM News. Good morning, I'm Eva Chipa.
Catch me, Bonang Mateba, on a fresh reality series that showcases the business behind being a business. Get to experience an intimate look at my life with family, personal growth, and my mission to uplift young women. Jet with me as we prepare to crown a lucky chaser. Be grounded, be entertained, and be dazzled. Monday, 6 p.m. on S3, it's a date with you and B. Catch Bedazzled by Bonang on S3 every Monday at 6 p.m.
We can do this. It's been a long time coming. This deserves to grow. It's a great business. If they don't like it, someone else will. And fund me so I can expand. Maybe I can offer them shares. I need to retain equity for staff. It's going to be good for recruitment. Yeah.
Possible begins with that one great idea. When Telkom enables entrepreneurs to make their ingenuity a reality, we grow local economies. Telkom. Possible begins here.
Paying your TV license means that you can tune in to the Expresso Morning Show from 6 to 9 a.m. Mondays to Fridays right here on S3. Enjoy our entertainment, recipes and important current affairs and updates. All of this for less than 74 cents a day or 265 Rand for an entire year. For super fast, secure and convenient payment from any device, go on to tvlrc.co.za and click on the Fast Pay button for payment in under 3 minutes. Make a difference with Expresso and TV licenses and pay yours.
Feel Good Fridays just got even better with a brand new Expresso newsletter, The Feel Good Fix. Delivered to your inbox every Friday, it is your weekly dose of joy, entertainment and local flair. Subscribe now at expressoshow.com and never miss a moment.
From heartwarming stories to tasty recipes, it's all there waiting for you. And remember to tune in to the Expresso Morning Show weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on S3, and let's start your day right and channel your inner feel good.
The Rockets know how magical 3 points is in football. They want just that in their own backyard this weekend. But Gunners want to deny them any joy as they are in dire need of victory to escape from the uncomfortable territory. Mpumalanga battles it out with Eastern Cape. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Proteas Galaxy Queens FC versus City Lads Ladies FC, the Sunday 18 August at 3 p.m. Live on SABC 1 and SABC radio stations. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag We Love It Here. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
The Friday Wind Down. Kick off your weekend the right way.
Sivulele ingasivaleli ngaphandle nathi sifuna ukuphila i-soft life konkonkonkonko sivulele ingasivaleli ngaphandle nathi sifuna ukuphila i-soft life konkonkonkonko sivulele ingasivaleli ngaphandle nathi sifuna ukuphila i-soft life konkonkonkonko sivulele ingasivaleli ngaphandle nathi sifuna ukuphila i-soft life masihlale phansi sicobelelane ngolwazi esinalo silekelelane kumele impilo ibe njalo oh please uma kufeswa ngicela ungikhumbule now oh please makuthathulwa ngibize ngijabule nami ngifisa ukuphila impilo engcono ngivulele ngicela ungivulele konkonkonko sivulele ingasivaleli ngaphandle nathi sifuna ukuphila i-soft life konkonkonkonko sivulele ingasivaleli ngaphandle nathi sifuna ukuphila i-soft life konkonkonkonko sivulele ingasivaleli ngaphandle nathi sifuna ukuphila i-soft life konkonkonkonko sivulele ingasivaleli ngaphandle nathi sifuna ukuphila i-soft life.
Okay, firstly, it feels just like yesterday when we last spoke to you. But so much has happened since then. Nundu Mo, good morning. Welcome to studio.
Greetings, my queen. Greetings to the listeners of SAFM. It's good to be home once again.
Oh my gosh. So, let's talk about what has happened since the last time you were here. Let me just bring our listeners up to speed. So, you remember that she had the mega hit, Pakadilam, that rose to incredible popularity, right? Since then, 400 million audio hits on Spotify, on app. 400 million, Nomfundo. Visual platforms, YouTube, also running into the millions. And you're on your second album. And I must say that when we spoke that week, you had just graduated.
Oh, yes.
You had just graduated. So, success clearly written in the stars for you. But what would you say the last couple of years have been like?
It's been a blessing, I won't lie. A lot has happened and I'm super grateful for everything that has happened. As you have said, the songs becoming hits, me breaking through as a newcomer at that time, buying my mom a house, and recently I just opened a restaurant. Yeah, like a lot has happened.
Oh my God, oh, that is so, you have to tell us more. You have to tell us more.
So I'm just super grateful, and to come back home to report about all the good stuff that has happened, it means a lot.
Now, let's talk about the decision to buy your mama house. Why was that one of the places where you started?
It's because it has always been in my heart. The things you put on your list, or when I become successful, this is what I want to do. So it has been a priority for me that I want to see her happy. I want to see her in her own space, have a place azothi ikhaya, and nami ngizoyibiza ngekhaya lami lesibili because there is home in KZN, but I just wanted a house specifically for her this time.
She must have been out of her mind.
She's very excited and happy.
Oh, that's wonderful. And opening up a restaurant? Look at you, businesswoman, entrepreneur going on over here.
I'm so excited to be here during Women's Month and to speak about everything good that has happened. I have a new restaurant that just opened beginning of August.
Okay.
It is called Lama Restaurant. It is in Spruitview Shopping Center. So I also invite you, if you happen to pass by Spruitview, please do pop by.
Okay, where did it all begin? Because Nomfundo, when we last spoke to you, you were all music, in between studies, but music. So you've had then a lot of time to sit and think about your life and try and plan, diversify your interests. It sounds like it anyway.
Yeah, it's like that. Spot on. Well, think about me. I'm always concerned about the future. I may be living in the present, but I'm always wondering what the future will look like. And for me, I feel like music is kind of seasonal, so you cannot just concentrate solely on music. Yes, I have a degree in social work, but what else can I do? Because there's some money coming in because of music, but then how long will it come? So let me rather just have another stream of income to be safe.
Okay, so now how serious are you about the restaurant? Are you there every day?
No, after this interview, I'm going there. But I'm not there every day because I have people who monitor everything because at the moment I just released an album, so I'm all over the place.
So you're out there promoting your album.
Yes.
But you have a good investment going on.
Definitely.
Okay. So Nomfundo, your degree that you got in social work, at this point, do you think it's ever going to be put to use?
I will use it, but I won't say I'll be practicing like ukuthi at the office, like how social workers do. But ngizoyenza mina. So maybe by having my own foundation at some point. I just had a 24 drive to push my album, whereby I was giving back to different communities that are needy, because I saw the need of using this chance to give back and be a social worker and not just Nundu Mo.
How old are you this year?
I'm 24.
Imagine, she's 24. She looks 12, but she's 24, and already you have done so much, and you've got just such a good head on your shoulders. How have you been able to do that? Because you are a young person, and in the space that you're in, it is a space where it's easy to sort of go with different influences. You're still at an age where you could be highly impressionable as well, to sort of go with what the rest of the crowd is doing.
I think for me, discipline is very important. You need to be disciplined in order for you to be composed at all times. Know your people, know your circle. Yes, it's good to socialize with other people as well, but just know your people as in genuine people. Because akusibo bonke abantu oz-associate nabo aba-right. So you need to know who has your best interest at heart and stick to those people.
What would you say keeps you grounded, Nomfundo? Because you do sound so grounded.
Thank you so much. Well, for me, it has got to be my family. Because every time, even after a bad day, social media, there are those negative comments. I know Zoya Ekaya to people who really love me, who care for me. Advices
We are in conversation with Nundu Mo. She is our Friday wind down guest. She spoke about new music, and of course we are going to have the opportunity of profiling her new music. Before we get into your new album, Nundu, what would you say has been the highlight of the last 2 years since we last spoke to you? Is there anything that has happened that you thought, well, okay, now this tells me that I am in another league. I'm playing now with the big boys and girls.
Yo, a lot has happened, I won't lie. Okunye nje mhlambe ngizokulibala at this point cause umbuzo fika manje. I've won a summer for best Afropop album. That was for my debut album Marikana. I won Ibasati for a highest airplay song, which was a Soft Life. Like, there's a lot that has happened, man, and I'm super grateful for everything. I think that's why ngingabuki nokuthi why am I even releasing album at such a short space of time. It's just because of the love that I'm receiving.
Let's talk about your new album. What can your fans, the people who listen to you, expect? What has been your inspiration behind this album?
The album is titled 24 because on July 18 I turned 24, and I'm super grateful for everything. It just took me back to maybe 5 years time or 5 years ago, whereby I'd write down the diary was okay, ngifisa graduate ngo 2022, ngifisa ukuzibona ngenza ukuthi, and I see a lot of things ebengizifake kuleyo list senzenzakele ezinye ngisafuna ukufinyelela kuzona. So I'm just here to assure people ukuthi wherever you are where you're supposed to be. Just hamba nge-pace yakho, because we are just in this journey of life figuring it out, because we don't have everything figured out yet, and it's okay.
Has your success resulted in you having to do a lot of moving? You were still in KZN when we last spoke. Have you relocated? Have you had to come to the city of bright lights and gold, where the wheeling and the dealing happens?
Oh yes, hey, I tried to go to ngihlale ngasekhaya for the longest time, but it did not work for me, so I had to relocate this site. So now I'm this site. Whenever you need me, just shout and I will run. I will come running.
What kind of changes has that brought on, moving to a new city? I imagine also you probably have had to make new friends. When you move into a new city, you need new friends sometimes, because they know the area, they're the people that you'll get to see more often, and it's not always easy transitioning, is it?
It wasn't easy for me, hey. I moved last year and it was kind of tough, I won't lie, because I spent the whole year ngihlala ngedwa and ngumuntu othanda ikhaya kakhulu, and my mom and my little sister only moved this year. So my year last year was so miserable, and ngumuntu wa indoors kakhulu, so it was hard for me to go out there. Ngisawuthi bazongitshontsha eGoli, I don't know, many places. So it was tough, man, but I'm glad I made it anyways.
And I guess the difficulty that you're in, Nomfundo, is that people won't respond to you as just any other 24-year-old. They respond to you as Nomfundo Mo.
Exactly.
And all you want is like, guys, I just need a friend. But all the potential friends look at you, they're like, oh, it's Nomfundo Mo.
You understand me? That's my daily struggle. Like, sometimes I just wish people could just see uNomfundo akangcobo, just a petite mosquito, and not the Nomfundo Mo who sings.
Now, who called you a mosquito?
It was my grandmom and my uncle. Unfortunately, they are both late. I wish they were here to see the name going places now.
Wow, no, their little mosquito has really gone far. And I'm laughing because, of course, if you see Nomfundo, she's quite short, got a very petite frame. So you can only imagine what that was like when she was 5 years old. But a bubble of energy. So I guess that's why it's also mosquito. All right, so we're going to kick it off then on the new album, Ngisayo Zama. Tell us about that song.
Ngisayo Zama, Ngisayo Zama, mina Ngisayo Zama. This one is for all the hustlers out there. I know Timpilo ayikho lula, but if you get to wake up ekuseni, it's okay, let me go and try my luck. Maybe kuzohlangana, maybe I'll be able to provide for my family. This song is for you. So lengomale, it's to give you a hug wherever you are, no matter what nami, I'm just there with you to give you that energy or that extra strength to move forward. Do not give up. You are not too far from your dreams.
sayozama engani ngiphanda sayozama 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 engani ngiphanda kuningi ngibhekene nakho yebo yize kunjalo sayozama angikhathali eyonto phela isuke inzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo kumele ngabenza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo la 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 ilawulwa intisekelo yokondlusapho la 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 ilawulwa intisekelo yokufeza amaphupho siyakhona sayozama 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 engani ngiphanda sayozama 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 engani ngiphanda kuningi ngibhekene nakho yebo yize kunjalo sayozama kuningi ngibhekene nakho yebo yize kunjalo sayozama yebo miyameni mina ngizobekezela angizoyekelela ngisebenza kanzima ukuze ngikwazi ukunqoba ubunzima ekhaya bathembe mina ukuthi ngami isimo singashintsha lokho kuyangiqhuba ukwazi ukunyamezela la 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 ngilawulwa intshisekelo yokufeza amaphupho siyakhona sayozama 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 engani ngiphanda sayozama 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 engani ngiphanda kuningi ngibhekene nakho yebo yize kunjalo sayozama
Konko sivuleleni ningazivaleli ngaphandle nathi sifuna uphila soft life konko sivuleleni ningazivaleli ngaphandle nathi sifuna uphila soft life
Oh, I was Cathy. You know, you brought one lady, one sister I love so much with all my heart. I love her work. I love her music, man. Oh, Nundu Mo, Swam, please just drop some more music. Drop some more. Oh, thank you very much. It's Martina from Bloemfontein.
Wow, Nundu, wow. The future looks bright, my dear. I'm so happy for you. Keep it up. All the best. You are such an inspiration at such a young age. Keep it up, my dear. Congratulations.
Sisketi. What a sisketi. That's what ungenzani, mama. Thanks for bringing my future wife, Lapo. Girl, you are the queen of Afropop. Ukazozo lwenye ukasela. This is Kazozo. Hey there, Parate la Melishi. I love your new song, Ikamalaki. You girls killed it. I'm afraid. Yo, shout out to you, Mango. Bofuze lishe, mapoloba. Nakuthanda ntombi.
All right. So I did say that Nundu Mo obviously has a lot of fans. So they've already started going. But I think people are right, Nundu, to express so much pride in you and how inspirational your story is.
I just can't stop blushing right now. Hey, I'm so humbled, guys. Ngiyanithanda kakhulu. Thank you so much. Yonke le myalezo enisendayo, it really means a lot to me. It tells me not to stop what I'm doing.
We're going to continue our conversation with Nundu Mo. She is our Friday wind down guest for today. For now, it's 11:30.
Good morning, I am Utsi Lesaku with your headlines. We start with breaking news. The Manzini Magistrates Court in Eswatini has ruled that two siblings, Siyabonga and Malusi Ndimande, be extradited to South Africa. They are wanted in the country for the murder of Keenan aka Forbes and his friend Dibello Tibbs Motswane. The Justice Minister, Thembi Nkadimeng, says government has spent 352 million rand on claims related to the Marikana massacre in which police gunned down 34 longmen workers near Rustenburg in the northwest in 2012. And healthcare workers affiliated to the Public Servants Association are picketing outside the Prince Mshini Memorial Hospital in Umlazi, south of Durban. They've accused management of maladministration and nepotism. Details at 12 o'clock.
Celebrating our music heritage right here on the Friday Wind Down.
Kepha bongayo khano jabulayo angazi noma inkingi kimi noma kubacwasi bami kunini ngizibuka nesibuko sesikhathele usisi
Seduza nalaba baduyile sondela nakimi kuze ngizithole phandle ngizizwa ngidukile ngithukile ngikhishi nyumazane mangizibandakanya ngifuna nje ukwamukela ukwesekwa konke okuhle bese kuphele lonke usizi
Just this one more time.
Friday wind down guest is Nundu Mo, that is Pambili, out of her latest offering. Nundu, you are, yes, a star that is on the rise, but you've already achieved just such a lot of success. What would you say some of the challenges that you faced with this chapter of your life? What have some of those been?
Mina, one thing about me, ngibuka vele ngimncane, so I see ukuthi some of the places engena kuzo, people turn to undermine me just because they're like, lengane le, who are you? Yini ozoyenza here? Until I start doing whatever that I'm there to do, because vele ngumuntu ongathanda ukukhuluma kakhulu. I just like acting, doing whatever that I need to do, and then that's when they realize it's and some bayaphahluka basho ukuthi uyazi besingathembi ukuthi uzokwazi ukwenza ukuthi. So sometimes lonto beyingenza ukuthi ngibe ne low self esteem ukuthi ngiyeka ngaleyo ndlela yini, until I saw ukuthi no, I'm my own person. Mina lo muntu engicanga ukuthi nguyena, I am that person.
And it's not easy. I think being a woman, being a young woman especially, walking into spaces, regardless of what people might say, the music industry is still very male dominated.
It is.
Especially with the people who are making decisions, right, on what must happen with people's careers. So as a young woman in those spaces, how do you make sure that your voice is not drowned out and that you're not going where they say you must go, but where you go is also a reflection of you?
I actually choose who I want to associate myself with. I don't just work with anyone. If I work with you, just know that I really like you or I like your aura, because I feed on your energy. So that is how I try to protect my space as much as I can. And also my team is also very protective of me. Abangiyekeli nje ukuthi ngihambe noma kanjani. So nabo bayabuka ukuthi okay, you are with who? And then you are in safe hands if you are there.
There's also, I think, a lot of pressure in the industry for people to look a certain way, to dress a certain way. And you've pushed against that from day one.
You won't believe me if I tell you when my career began, I used to cry almost every day because of a comment abantu telling me how ugly I look or how it doesn't look nice or I'd cry so much. And my mom said something even now. She was like, out of 10 people, 2 people abakhombisa ukuthi abakuthandi or bakhuluma kabi ngawe, and the other 8 people bakhombisa uthando. So when you choose to ignore the 8 people who show you so much love, just for those 2 people, who are you? And then I looked in the mirror and I'm like, okay, I am Nundu Mo. The 8 people really like me, so that means I should focus on those people who love me for who I am. So it was a struggle and Zamui fighter for a very long time.
And I guess I can understand why it would especially be hard for somebody like you. You are an artist that has also grown to fame through social media.
True.
And social media projects people, stars like you, in a particular way, and if you're choosing to be who you are and be true to that, it's like, no, but you don't look the way that we want others like you to. That's not the picture that we're striving towards. But for you to be able to do that and stay true to yourself, has it been a conversation you've had to have with yourself to say, actually, I am who I am, and whoever likes it, they don't like it, but there are those who do like it?
Yes, it's a conversation I had to have with myself. Even on the song Ipambili, there's a point, there are lines where I talk about angazi noma inkinga yimi noma it's abacwasi or people abangikhuluma kabi. Kuningi izibuko esibukweni nesibuko sesikhatheli. So that is me having a conversation with myself, looking at myself in the mirror. Ukuthi Nomfundo, ngabe uhappy yini ngalo muntu oyena? And I came to a point where I'm like, no, I am content with who I am, and I'm just gonna soldier on ngaleyo ndlela. Abangithandayo, they will move with me.
Do you think that's part of what makes you unique?
Definitely.
And I also think that it's part of what makes you so intriguing, including for international audiences. So I don't know about you, but almost every time that I am on a particular music platform, I don't know if every time I'm on Apple Music, right? So it's nothing about what, I also have Spotify, so don't come and crucify me. But when I'm opening the search list, your face is almost one face that is always consistently there when we're talking about African female artists. So there must be something about you that is appealing, including to international audiences, that makes people so drawn to you. I know you also did the Alpha cover for Apple. Yeah, you're one of their faves, Nomfundo. They love you at Apple Music.
And I love them so much, as well as Spotify. Ngiyabathanda kakhulu Shem, the love they've been showing me since icareer yami iqalile kuze ube manje. It's super amazing. I'm super grateful for all the love. Ngingasho ngithi staying true to yourself, ikona okuzongitha abantu bakulandele, because balandela wena, you are the leader. But the moment it's okay, let me be what they want me to be, just know that you are not in control of your life anymore. People would dictate to meluwe ubenje, and kuzomela ukuthobele lokho because ubajwayezile ukuthi that's how life is.
Where would you say you draw your strength from?
Indwedwe, shout out, KZN, shout out, cause mina ngingane yasemakhaya kakhulu, so inspiration yami inobukhaya kakhulu, ukuthi okay, you need to be grounded, kumele ubazisa abantu abadala everywhere I go, even with my lyrical content. You can see ukuthi okay, umuntu oqhamuka endaweni ekanjani le ekhaya. It's a very religious family and a musical family, so konke lokho kungisizile ukuthi ngibe ilengane engiyona njengamanje.
Wonderful. Nundu Mo is our guest for this Friday on the Friday Wind Down. We're talking about her new album. We're talking about her journey in this music career that she's been embarked on and already become so successful. She's only 24 years old. Can you imagine when Nundu Mo is going to be at 30? Yeah, she won't even be living in the country anymore. She'll be telling us about how I bought a house in LA and in California and in Europe somewhere. She'll be like, oh, who's Cathy? No, I don't know. We don't know those people.
Can never be me.
Bongani, you're calling us from Durban. Good morning. Hello, Bongani.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Bongani Ngobese. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you for taking my call. I'm just calling to declare my interest to Nomfundo. I've just been appointed by Kazozo Newcastle as his chief lobola negotiator. So he must be ready. We are coming. We are on the way. I really appreciate her music, but it's a privilege for me to be appointed as a chief negotiator on behalf of Kazozo Newcastle. Thank you so much.
Bongani, no, Nomfundo is protected. Hey? I feel like I must be her older sister on this platform. I can't. As far as I'm concerned, you're not even.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Nothing less than 1,000 cows. It's set at 1,000 cows.
They can say how many will bring them along.
Nice. Thanks
so
for the
much.
call, Bongani. Spusiso, you're out in Durban too. Good morning.
Fuze mashiya mahle ngathi ngoshumayela.
Budi.
Wena kade khulu.
Yimloyo.
Yes, Cathy, I'm very much inspired by Nundu Mo. I am visually impaired, and meaning to say I'm blind, but I'm very much inspired by indlela alokhunja ngayo. Nami ngizizwa ngi-inspired ukuthi as much as I am in this condition, but I can be able to do more things as much as Nomfundo has done. There's something that makes me laugh. There was a prank from Ukos FM, and as she's saying that she cries easily, and in that prank they were pranking, and she cried. I wish you can play that prank in the program. Hey, she made me laugh a lot.
Thank you so much for the call, and I'm glad you are inspired. Wishing you all the best. uNkulunkulu aqhubeke nokukubusisa.
And I wish to give you an assignment. As a visually impaired somebody, I've just turned blind in 2022, and I wish to open up an NPO helping people like myself. And as a social worker, I know you can coordinate things so that I can open up an NPO. So I'll give you an assignment about that.
Okay. Right. Thanks for that, Spusiso out in Durban. Okay, Magdalene, you're literally the only person that's on the phone right now that is not from Durban, because everybody else on the list is from KZN. Good morning, Magdalene.
Oh, thanks for the honor, Cathy. Thank you very much. But you know what, man? I'm going to be honest with you and say, thanks very much for your parents for understanding your career, even your talent and your gifts, because they managed to help you and to support you in both the career and the talent. So what I'm going to say to you, I feel bad now because I was the parent who didn't understand my son's talent because he was into hip-hop in the early 90s, 93, 94, somewhere there. So, honestly speaking, I'm standing in front of him. It's for the first time he heard that I feel pity that I didn't honor his talent. He's now working as a marketing officer, is fine. But I'm so happy for you. Flourish, my girl. Explore. Let God give you an opportunity. Stay away from the drugs. That's what I'm going to say. He's here, my son. Say hello to him. Say hello to
Nomfundo.
Hello, Putwami.
Unjani sis?
Ngiyaphila ninjani?
Right.
Saphila na.
I was just supposed to say hi, so.
No problem. Umama kade khuluma kahle ngawe. We are proud of you.
Nyabonga.
Thank
we
you.
Try. You know how it is, most.
Yes, we gotta try.
All right.
All right. Okay. I love what Magdalene did
man.
there.
Thank you, bye.
All right.
Thank you, my
Magdalene. Thanks, Magdalene. And I think what she's saying is so important because parents often don't understand their children's dreams, but it's not coming from a bad place because they want to see their children succeed and, have stability in life. What do you think you were able to do to give your mom that security that no, don't worry. I know it's music. I know it's full of so many ups and downs, but I'm going to be okay.
And I don't blame parents for feeling that way. Even my parents were kind of insecure about me doing music. So I had to ensure them, ukuthi, I will study, I will come back with that degree, and I will do music. Konke kuzophumelela ngale ndlela le ebengifisa ngayo. And when I graduated, that's when uma waqala wabona ukuthi, oh, okay, music is not that bad after all. Na iseyafika nepleki ekhombisayo my milestones with the music. Ngapha I'm graduating, happening all at the same time. Na ingoma is of life. Also, I think nengoma engizenza vele noma engizenzayo izona ezibaze babona ukuthi oh na imfundiso yethu siyayibona here. Bayafika omakhelwane babatshela, "Aw, ingoma yengane yenu noma umzukulu wenu ethi ingithinte kanje." So to them, it's like I am preaching away from church because I'm not even doing gospel, but ama lyrics akhona ayakhana. So kubanike that assurance ukuthi no, she is still our baby doing exactly lokho simfundise kona.
Do the kids in primary school still think that you're one of them?
Yes. I recently visited my primary school engangifunda kuyo, and the way bebe excited ngakhona othisha had to keep on reminding them mudala njalo unomfundo kunani.
We're going to continue the conversation with Nundu Mo on the other side of this break.
Victory in the opening match always sets a good tone, and that's what the Gunners of London are gunning for.
They've almost scored! Kai Havertz! And Arsenal have won it late.
Meanwhile, the Wolves are on a real mission mission to howl for 90 minutes in search of essential 3 points.
Wolves have a second! And listen to the noise!
This is the Premier League. Witness the thrilling encounter between Arsenal FC and Wolverhampton Wanderers on Saturday 17 August at 3 p.m. Live on SABC3 and at your fingertips on SABC Plus. Also available on sabcsport.com. Hashtag we love it here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
It's Elimination Week on the Tastemaster Junior. This Tuesday evening at 7 on SABC2 as the bottom 6 bake to stay in the competition. It's all about desserts as the contestants recreate their versions of a family favorite, warm and comforting pudding. But will it be enough to impress the judges and earn them a spot in the next round? That's the Tastemaster Junior this Tuesday at 7. Repeat Wednesdays at 1 and Sundays at 4 p.m. Only on SABC2.
The Friday Wind Down. Kick off your weekend the right way.
Wow. Cathy, how? What a great show this morning. This Friday with this lady in studio and your team. What a music. I like the music. I like your age, man. It's Uncle JJ, the truck driver, right now in Bloemfontein. I'm enjoying your music. I think this song is dedicated to Floyd and Mane, as they are departing from EFF to MK. Isn't it, Cathy? Floyd and Mane, are you listening? Basazozama MK. Keep it up, my sister. We support you.
Hi, sis Cathy. I send my huge greetings to Nundu Mo. Hi, sis Cathy. The voice is beautiful. It seems like it's coming out of a deep fridge. Cool music. Sticky from Kimberley. Sharp, Norca.
All right. Thanks for those WhatsApp voice notes. Kazozo, you're in Newcastle. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, I'm shivering right now.
Why are you shivering, Kazozo?
I can't believe it. I'm talking to her.
Okay, you're not talking to her yet. Let me let you talk to her. Nomfundo, say good morning.
Sawubona Kazozo.
Kunjani?
Ngiyaphila unjani?
Ngiyaphila. Just want to thank God for a queen like you. I think we must appreciate you. And I've been observing your talent since from your debut album, and I'm so happy with it growing. Even the way you write songs, your lyrical content
Thank you so much.
Kazozo, what's going on right now with you, man? Hey, kuningi.
It's unfortunately what we are not on air, but I'm just so happy, like, to talk to her, and I wish that I can do a collaboration with her one day. And I'm so happy the fact that she retweeted my video on her Twitter. I did her cover. So I'm not sure if she can still remember me.
I remember ngayibona nompilo manyathi.
Yebo, nje sana nje ukuthi sibonga nje i-team yakho nje sesidinga leader ayibaphethe kahle kakhulu siyabonga man umculo wakho siyawuthanda nomfundo, like you are giving us life, like yabo.
Thank you, fam.
All right, Kazozo, go and drink a glass of water now, to calm your... Hey, Nomfundo. Hey, Musa, you're in Ngobo. You're calling from Indwendwe. Good morning.
Oh, mame.
Mkaya.
Okay.
Yes, Musa.
Hayi. Wathi Ngobo. Usifuze mashiya mahle mapholoba.
Awu.
Athi azoshumayela.
Awu. Mashiza kandaba.
Nomfundo ngiyabonga siswami. Thank you so much, and thank you to SAFM as well. Ukuthi balethe wena, in studio. You're such an inspiration to everyone, young and old. And I thank God for you, Sibonga, ogogo nomkhulu ngawe siswami. Yeah, kahle I was driving mina ngihlale pha eNtambara ekhaya sendodela emthebeni. I was driving coming up ku P100 ngizongena endodela ekhaya, and I always listen to SAFM. I said, what? They've got who? Let me just tune in.
Where's ekhaya?
Ngisekhaya konjena manje nje nazi inkukhu lana ngilethe building material, and my sister I just pray ukuthi when the show ukuthi when success comes, you look after your home, you take care of your home, your parents,
definitely,
your sisters and brothers. Make sure ukuthi noma ngabe ukuphi but ekhaya qhakaza. Ngela uhlale uyi-light at all times, whether umncane mina ngumagcine ekhaya. But I make sure ukuthi yonke into yenzeka ekhaya kuyakhiwa right, kwawena ungaqhamuka not ikwangqobo la, so ekhaya kube modern.
I love that.
All right,
yeah,
Musa.
So please stay grounded and ungathathwa ifame, don't be swallowed by ifame. Stay grounded, stay healthy as well. And in that film, I feel bad with some artists. They pass on, that's and please, I just pray they all stay grounded and be healthy and live a life, a healthy, a godly life.
Okay. Musa, thanks for that.
All right. Thank you, Putwam. Bugela kuwe.
Nomfundo, we're getting ready to round up the conversation because you see the hour is up already. We're done. We've got. I've got 2 more songs on the list, but I think we'll end it off with Musa, ne?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Let's tell people about what you're going to be getting up to, where then they can expect to see you. Just use the minute and a half just to tell us what is happening.
If I do not get that opportunity, but if niseduze nje naseGoli ngiyanimema mhla 25 August on Sunday, the next week Sunday, sizobe se Emarensha for a tribute to women. So please ngicela niphume ngobunengi benu sizobhiyoza and celebrate ama heroes ethu, celebrate ama queens ethu, abo mama bethu, abo sisi bethu. Let's just hang up kube mnandi.
On the 25th of August.
Yes, Mama.
And in terms of the new album, you launched it earlier on this month.
Yes.
But what is it that you want people to know about it?
Ngicela ukuthi abantu beze Emarensha Nkosi yami because iset yami isishintshile manje. I'm putting on new songs as well. Yes, ngeke ngize ngikhiphe ndala, but I'm adding songs. So nizozo nje beautiful songs, love songs, ingoma zokududuzeka, ingoma ze hope, ingoma ze struggle. There's just a lot of good music going on there uzomotivateka.
Nundu Mo, thank you so much for coming to studio. It's so wonderful to see your journey, man.
Thank you.
I hope that there's just more and more and more for you, and that sober head that you have on your shoulders will continue to guide you on the rest of this journey. Amen. It's always such a pleasure. 24 years old, I will remind you. Always such a pleasure being in conversation with you. Thank you for your time. We're going to wrap it up with Umusa. This is featuring Msaki and Casper Nyovest.
Elezeni minoso, elezeni minoso.
It is 12 o'clock, Friday, the 16th of August, 2024. A very warm welcome to Updated Noon on SAFM, always leading the conversation. I'm Udo Carls, standing in for Sakina Kamwendo. Coming up in the next hour.
We are committed to fulfilling our treaty and extradition obligations to ensure that justice is served in all relevant cases.
The Justice Department says efforts to extradite Prophet Shepherd Bushiri as well as the Gupta brothers from the UAE are ongoing. And our Energy and Electricity Minister, Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, says nuclear will happen, but a public participation process will follow first. And then, of course, in the sport...
All of the wickets fell on day one of the second test between South Africa and the West Indies. What will happen in day two? And the Springboks prepare for the second test against the Wallabies.
Share your views with us on 41391. Your SMS is charged at R1.50. Your calls on 0